Baseball's rich history in Latin America dates back well over a century. From Clemente to Cabrera and Marichal to Rivera, there is an indelible mark left on the game. In Major League Baseball today, rising stars from Latin America continue this tradition. Nomar Mazara hails from the Dominican Republic. In his third season, he is an established power bat.
Hits his ball a ton out to center field. That one is history! Out of here!
An impact player whose calm demeanor earned him the nickname, the Big Chill. In Chicago, the centerpiece of a new era for the White Sox is Cuban-born Yoan Moncada, a top-of-the-order table setter who also packs a punch.
Grand slam, Yoan Moncada!
These rising Latin stars are the future of baseball, and the future of the game is in good hands.
Indeed, a lot of great young players in this series represented by both clubs as we get ready. Game 2 tonight, Rangers and White Sox from Chicago. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you once again tonight. I am Dave Ramett alongside Mr. Ranger Tom Grieve, and the Rangers looking to bounce back tonight after a loss in the opener yesterday. You might remember yesterday Cole Hamels scratched from what would have been his scheduled start. Today, not starting again. We don't know exactly whether or not he'll be able to go tomorrow. We're still waiting. Hopefully find out after the ball game today. But in the meantime, Tom, the good news is the starting pitching lately has been very sharp.
Last two starts in particular, Dave, have been really good. Wednesday afternoon in Seattle, Bartolo Colon was terrific. 7 2/3 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. In last night's ball game, Doug Fister was equally as good. 7 innings, 6 hits, no runs, no walks. Rangers lost a lead late, so he didn't get a win, but he pitched very well. Looking to follow up on those 2 starts will be Matt Moore. He's done very well in this ballpark. In fact, he's 5-1 with a 1.67 ERA. Hopefully, pitching in this ballpark will be something that gets him on a roll, and we'll follow up those last 2 starts with another good one tonight.
Indeed, and that would be great news for the Rangers. The other piece of good news for the Rangers is, staying on the topic of starting pitching, they might be seeing one tonight that can get this offense going.
Well, Carson Fulmer is pitching for the White Sox. He was the 8th pick in the draft a couple of years ago, so he's very talented. On the other hand, he struggled at home in his 2 years with the White Sox, 3-4 with a 6.16 ERA. They hope he's a future building block for their rotation, but in his last 2 starts, he's 0-2 with an ERA over 15. He'll try to right the ship tonight. The Rangers will try to keep him going in the same direction he's going in.
All right, well, one of those guys as we continue to celebrate some of the great young players right now, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Well, he's done a lot in this last week, and we put him in the spotlight when we come back.
Rangers Baseball is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. By Budweiser, a legendary lager for legendary moments. Rangers fans, this Bud's for you. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency.
Rangers and the White Sox getting set for the second game of this 4-game series. Now, we mentioned Isaiah Kiner-Falefa as we went to break, and he is in our Shiner Box spotlight tonight. Boy, the last 7 games, he has hit in 6 of the last 7 for very good average. You see, he scored 7 runs, scored 5 of the Rangers' 13 runs in the series in Seattle, including a couple of very clever base running moves. Well, he does a lot of the small things well today, making his 10th start at third base. And for a little more on Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, let's check in with Emily Jones.
Well, Dave, you know you're doing things right when you earn the praise of Adrian Beltre. When asked about the performance of Isaiah Kiner-Falefa to this point, Adrian said, after he threw sunflower seeds at me, it's not just the base running. He does everything right. He does all the right things. He asked all the right questions. And so I saw Isaiah yesterday walking down Michigan Avenue and asked if he had seen the comments from Beltre. And he said, what? Adrian had comments about me? And I said, yes. I said, Google it, told him where to find him. And then I saw him in the clubhouse and said, what did you think of the comments that Adrian had about you? And he said, they were awesome. And so is Adrian for throwing sunflower seeds throughout this entire report. We will have the first pitch between the Rangers and the White Sox coming up on the other side. Dave and Tom with the call right after this.
Now, Friday night, they get the fireworks started early on the south side. This is the second game of our 4-game series, the Rangers and the White Sox. And time to take a look at our Southwest starting lineups for the Rangers. Delano DeShields leading things off again tonight. He's in center field. Shin-Soo Choo bats second. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa batting in the third hole and playing third base. It's Mazara, Profar, and Gallo in the middle of things today. Gallo notably drops down to 6th in the order. Rougned Odor bats 7th at second base. Chirinos catching it. Ronald Guzman at first base rounds it out.
Carson Fulmer is on the mound for the White Sox. Let's take a look at his pitch arsenal. Throws a lot of fastballs, 80% of the time, as a matter of fact. He also has a lot of movement on that fastball. He also throws a changeup and a curveball. But he has so much movement on his fastball, sometimes he has a hard time commanding the strike zone with it. He's walked 19 in 30 innings. And for the White Sox defensively, Nicky Delmonico is in left field. The fleet-footed Adam Engel is in center field. Trace Thompson is in right field. On the infield, Matt Davidson's at third. Jose Abreu, the veteran, is at first base. Up the middle, it's Tim Anderson and Yoan Moncada. And behind the plate is Wellington Castillo.
Okay, so we are set to go. Rick Renteria, second year as manager of the White Sox. And look, they know it's a rebuilding year. And they're just trying to keep it all together. 11 wins, 29 losses to start the year this year. You see the other years of his managerial experience on the north side of Chicago with the Cubs. But now with the White Sox, and he gives the ball to Carson Fulmer to get things started here tonight. The right-hander's first pitch. Whoa, that one hit DeShields, and there we go, off and running tonight.
Lord, what a way to start the game. 95-mile-an-hour fastball, not even close to the plate. I don't know if I feel like going up there as the next hitter after that. That thing's about 2 feet inside. On a cold night, that doesn't feel good. Missed his elbow, it looked like. Looked like it hit him right in the muscle.
He's got a lot of it, too.
That's a bad way to start the game.
Looked like maybe the triceps there. So Delano getting a little bit of a look, and you can see a smile creeping onto his face. Kevin Harmon, the head athletic trainer out there, just giving him a moment.
Yeah, first pitch of the game.
Come on,
I thought
man.
the guys were trying to throw first pitch strikes. Not strike me with a first pitch.
I dare say his sister Diamond threw a better first pitch yesterday than Carson Fulmer.
It wasn't going quite. He'd rather get hit by his sister's pitch than that one, though. She didn't have quite the same velocity. I'm glad he's okay.
All right, so now DeShields with good speed over there at first. And Fulmer, you just had outlined a lot of the struggles he's had. That is not the way he wanted to start. And there goes Delano. Choo is taken all the way. The throw to second, not in time. And so DeShields with his 8th stolen base of the year.
That's the best way a base stealer can get back at a pitcher for a hit by pitch. Now, Fulmer wasn't throwing at him, but nevertheless, you get to first base and you want to make him pay for putting you on base that way. And Delano right off the bat, first pitch, he's gone. Easy stolen base.
So he's out there in scoring position for Choo. Fulmer off the plate. It's 2-0. So rough start already for him. Choo 2 for 4 in yesterday's game. Drove in the first run, scored a run. He's hitting 4 straight now. He takes outside 3-0. Our TXU Energy power player to watch. You see Choo's numbers against the White Sox since 2017. Really good numbers, and built on those last night. I gather he'd be taken all the way here. Fulmer hasn't found the strike zone yet tonight. And he puts his second freebie on. So a hit batter and a 4-pitch walk. Fulmer's 5 pitches into the game. And there's his pitching coach, Don Cooper, and I can only imagine what's going through his mind right now. He's seen this before.
I know what's going through the long man's mind out in the bullpen. I better start walking around and get loose. You look at what Fulmer has done in his last 2 starts. He's only pitched 5 1/3 innings in his last 2 starts. He's given up 10 hits, 6 walks, and in an amazing stat, in his last 2 starts, he's averaged 27 pitches an inning. That's a lot of pitches. And already in this game, he's on his way to the same thing. Well, he's got a good arm. Bright prospect, 8th pick in the 2015 draft. College pitcher from Vanderbilt. Enjoyed enormous success at Vanderbilt. And he pitched well for the White Sox last year when he got called up. He was 3-1, had an ERA under 4. Still had some walks, though. 13 walks in 23 innings. But I think based on how he pitched last year in those 23 innings, the White Sox felt that was a good building block for this season, but it hasn't turned out that way for him yet.
And to be fair, he's just 24 years old. Still plenty of time for things to get better for him, but he misses way inside here. He has not found the strike zone yet. Here comes Don Cooper. And you're talking now 7 pitches into the game, and Fulmer has not thrown a strike. And this is the 2nd mound visit burned by the White Sox. Tom, you talk about the success that Fulmer had at Vanderbilt, which, by the way, they've had a lot of success turning out great pitchers, and he's just another in a long line of them. But started in the bullpen, worked his way into the rotation. In fact, pitched the deciding game of the College World Series in 2014 against Virginia, and he did that on short rest. His coach said that he was the most strong-willed kid that they've ever had come through Vanderbilt. Not a big, gifted guy in terms of size, but a battler, and he's going to have to battle here tonight. Kiner-Falefa bunts down the third baseline, and the sacrifice a good one as Davidson picks it up down there and takes care of him. It's a 5-4 put out on the sacrifice, but both runners now in scoring position.
Well, as we've all talked about Kiner-Falefa and what he's brought to the team since he's been here, he's brought steady play for sure at a number of different positions. And one of the many things that he's done that's been impressive is his ability to lay down a bunt. Now, that shouldn't be something that you get overly excited about, but even at the big league level, it's kind of a lost art. And when you see a guy who consistently gets the ball down with a fundamentally sound bunting approach, it's something worth commenting on him. He's been very good at it.
He sets up Mazar in a very good spot here, and there is ball 1. Nomar, and we've talked about this quite a bit, 7 home runs in the month, although it's been a little while for him all of a sudden. Just 3 hits in the last 5 games for Nomar. He had a triple last night. 1-0. And it is outside again. 2-0. The 1 strike now that Fulmer has thrown was because Kiner-Falefa bunted it. There you see it, 9 balls and 1 strike. Two 0 pitch. And there he gets the call.
Fans are excited.
They love him.
You can see the movement that he has on his pitch, the tailing action. Sometimes, you'll see a pitcher just aim for the outside corner and the ball moves out of the strike zone. With that kind of movement, this kind of pitcher just aim it right for the middle of the plate and let the movement take care of the rest.
DJ Rayburn, our plate umpire tonight. Who knows? Maybe he thought those cheers were for him.
Maybe.
Go Leslie Nielsen on us here.
Now that would definitely get my attention.
To see him do the splits. DeShields third, Choo at second. And there's ball four. So a hit batter, a sacrifice, 2 walks. And the Rangers have them loaded with only the 1 out. Now, might be worth pointing out, this is not exactly an ideal evening to be doing anything outdoors. Was it snowing or is that rain? What is some sort of like
it's a mist.
Misty nastiness here today. 53 degrees at game time. So, I mean, if a guy were to tell me, I had trouble gripping the baseball, I guess I could buy that. Of course, we'll see how the rest of the pitchers do tonight. Profar now with a good spot, and he takes a strike.
Fulmer in the minor leagues pitched 250 innings. Didn't have a lot of success even in the minor leagues. He was 13-19 with an ERA just a little bit under 5. And a little bit of a command issue there too. 130 walks in 250 innings.
Strike pitch, and Profar comes up empty. It's 0-2. Jurickson batting from the left side here against the right-hander Fulmer. 224 average. A couple of home runs for Profar. We have noted quite often lately that the numbers don't always give us a great read on how he's swinging the bat. 6 hits in his last 25 at bats. Fulmer's 0-2, and there's a bouncer up the middle. That could be trouble, and it sneaks through into center field. That's a base hit. Good base running, scores 2 and gets Mazzara to third. So Profar, with a seeing eye 2-run single, gets the Rangers started tonight 2-0.
It's a pretty good pitch by Fulmer. It's a ball tailing down and away. You get a good look at it here. Off-speed pitch. Jurickson just protecting the plate, and based on the way he's hit the ball, even on this road trip and in Seattle, he's kind of due for a base hit like that. He's had a lot of good swings, hit a number of balls solidly, and so to reach out, hit that ball on the ground and get it by Moncada at second base, he's due for one of those.
So now they're on the corners for Gallo. Joey dropped to 6th in the order today. His struggles lately have become maybe a little more apparent. 0 for 4 yesterday with a couple of strikeouts. He's still with the 13 home runs. That's second most in the league. But it's been a dry stretch. Just 2 hits on this trip. And this is a 3-city trip. He's 2 for 23. The average a little below 200. Power numbers continue to be there for him. Holds up, or did he? Oh, it's a swing. 1-1 the count. Look at this number here. 11 at bats per home run is power ratio on the road. That's 7th in Major League Baseball. So he's done a lot of the damage on the road. And this, the good ballpark for a left-handed hitter. The ball does seem to carry well out to right. inside. He's 2-1. Rangers typically a very aggressive team offensively, and that has resulted in a lot of strikeouts. For Gallo, 63 strikeouts this year. Today might be rewarded for some patience against Fulmer, at least early on. 3-1.
He's thrown 19 pitches already. 14 of them have been balls. And as I mentioned earlier, in his last 2 starts, he's only gotten through 5 in the 3rd. And that's because of how many pitches he's thrown. He averaged in those 2 starts 27 pitches an inning. I think most pitchers are shooting for around 15. A guy like Bartolo Colon many times is around 13 or 14. 27, that's a lot of pitches for 1 inning, let alone to average that over 2 starts.
Got a full count here on Gallo, and you can see a little bit of rain. I don't know if you want to call it rain. Mist at times, but they're getting a pretty good washing up north of us.
It's the kind of thing. Dave Burchett makes a good point. Our director, we call it mist. The guys that are down there in it, like the cameramen, they call it rain.
Yeah. Emily might call that rain.
Yeah, I think Emily's calling it rain.
Of course, Emily, I don't know. I mean,
I absolutely call it rain, which is why I'm under an overhang right now.
And you showed a lot of poise with those sunflower seeds coming at you today, by the way.
You know, I knew that there was rain in the forecast. I just didn't know that sunflower seeds were in the forecast. But
well,
listen, when it's Adrian, you just never know. Elvis got in on it a little bit. Those two are bored. They're injured. They're not playing. So I can't fault it.
It does take a special person to do your job, I'll say. I mean, it's not one thing, it's another.
Special's one word to use.
There probably aren't a lot of people who are accustomed to it as much as it's happened to Emily. So she's had a lot of practice at it.
It comes with time and conditioning.
You handled it well. Hope you stay dry down there.
Thanks, guys.
3-2 to Gallo, and he fouls
good
off
swing
another.
at that one. Good pitch to hit. Great swing. Got a piece of it. Take a look at that swing from Joey. Oh, that pitch is right in the center square. So we'd like to have another shot at that same pitch.
Well, he might just get it. Fulmer having a little trouble with command early. 3-2 pitch.
Something off that one. Threw a changeup on that pitch. Joey's still able to get a piece of it. Whether it's the changeup or the fastball, there's a lot of tailing action to that pitch.
Two runs already across here in the first inning, just 1 out. And this is to play on the weather conditions. A bit of a downpour of offense in the first inning for the Rangers. Not accustomed to scoring a whole lot in the first inning. This ball hit well out to right center. It'll score another. Mazar is in easily. Profar heading to third, and he's in there easily. Gallo with the RBI single. It's 3-0.
Well, Jurickson found a hole with a softly hit ground ball. That ball was a rope. That's when you can have as many guys as you want on the right side of the infield. If they're not in front of this ball, it's going to go right by them. They're not going to have time to get in front of this ball. There's the same swing Joey had at the 3-2 pitch. He fouled straight back. That time he made solid contact with it and hit a rope. Rare single for Joey, but picks up an RBI with it.
So back-to-back singles. Man, there you see it right there. Second time this year that the Rangers have scored more than once in an inning. And really, that hardly does it justice. This is May 18th. The Rangers had 1 first inning run in the entire month coming into play tonight. So now with 3 runs in, perhaps more to come as Odor takes one down the middle for a strike. Rangers had scored 9 total runs in the first inning this year prior to tonight. By far the fewest in Major League Baseball. The next closest team had scored 15 first inning runs. They weren't exactly bragging about that either, Toronto Blue Jays, but it's a good piece more than what the Rangers have been able to muster early. So a good start to this one. 1-1 the count to Rougned Odor. All right, a bullpen live look already tonight, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. As the White Sox growing increasingly concerned with the way Fulmer has started this one, 26 pitches in.
This game started badly for him. First pitch of the game, he drilled Delino. Delino's stolen second base and scored.
Didn't get a whole lot better from there. The only out he has so far is one the Rangers gave him, a sacrifice bunt. Now, this is part of it for both these teams, running young players out there right now in hopes of finding, some building blocks, and they know that Fulmer's going to be a good one, a first-round pick in 2015. But there will be bumps for the young guys early on. There's a swing and a miss, and Odor strikes out. They're 2 away.
Well, he's thrown a lot of pitches out of the strike zone, but he zeroed in that at bat and made a good pitch to get Rudy for strike 3.
So Robinson Chirinos now 8th place hitter. Had a hit last night. And a chance here with runners on the corners. Chirinos also walked yesterday, so he was on a couple of times. Last 3 games seems to have dialed it in just a little bit. 4 for his last 8 with 3 walks.
Well, most hitters are streaky hitters. Robinson's like that as well. When he gets on a pretty good streak, he sees the ball well. He takes the pitches out of the strike zone. He works walks, has a good on-base percentage, as well as drives the ball really well too. So hopefully this little streak he's on right now for 3 games is going to jettison him into a nice month.
Well, we have seen him the last couple of years when he gets on a little jag, look out. It seems like he can hit a home run every day when he does. Last couple of years at times been the year of the catcher for the Rangers, and Chirinos has been right in the thick of all that. 30 pitches in for Carson Fulmer, and he's behind Chirinos 2-0. Profar third, Gallo at first. Gallo bluffs. There's a ground ball down to third base. Davidson bobbled it, but recovers in time to get Chirinos, and the inning is done. So the Rangers will settle for 3 runs in the top of the first. An explosion offensively. Now Matt Moore heads on out. A little bit of support can get to work against these White Sox. Let's take a look at their lineup today. Tim Anderson, the speedy shortstop, up top. Nicky Delmonico in left field. Jose Abreu at first. And it's Davidson, Castillo, Daniel Polka, the DH. Yoan Moncada, Adam Engel, and Trace Thompson rounds things out for the White Sox. And Moore, 1 win, 5 losses, makes his 9th start of the season. He's also pitched 1 in relief. 7.82 ERA for Moore. But as you pointed out earlier, Tom, this is a place that has treated him well. He likes to pitch against the White Sox, and in particular in this ballpark.
Yeah, he's 5-1 in this ballpark. Has an opponent's batting average below 200, 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. And more importantly than that, he has a 3-0 lead here in the first inning.
Second pitch of the game is lined out to right field by Anderson. So they have some speed on here in the bottom of the first.
Take a look at the pitch arsenal from Matt. 65% fastballs. That includes his cut fastball. Almost 20% curveball, 16% changeup. So a good mix of traditional pitches. Key for Matt is to locate that within the strike zone in the appropriate part of the plate that makes it hard for the hitter to hit it. Keep the ball away from the middle of the plate and the hitter's zone.
Dumps one in for a strike to Nicky Delmonico. 1 for 3 yesterday, but otherwise a bit of a struggle to start the year for Delmonico. Anderson not running, and this one lifted out into left field. Gallo, plenty of time to get there. One away.
Now time for the AARP take on Matt Moore versus Jose Abreu. Jose Abreu, 1 hit and 6 at-bats with a strikeout. So Matt has had pretty good success against a very good middle-of-the-order guy in Jose Abreu. Abreu's been in the big leagues now for 4 seasons. He's averaged 300. He hasn't had a year where he's hit less than 25 home runs or a year where he's knocked in less than 100 runs. So he's been as consistent as you can be in your first 4 years in the big leagues. The other side of it is he wasn't 20 when he got to the big leagues. He'd had a stellar career in Cuba before he ever got to the big leagues. So he had a pretty good apprenticeship and was a dominating hitter over in Cuba.
31 years old now. 1-0 pitch, and he swings and misses. It's 1-1. Very good hitter. Probably doesn't get quite the recognition or credit maybe that he deserves, because he has been playing on some White Sox teams that just have not won a lot of games. When he came up as a rookie with 2014, I mean, that was incredible. He got off to such a torrid pace that everybody knew about him and all eyes were on him. But since then has settled in, continued to produce beautifully here in Chicago, but for teams that lose a lot of games.
To tell you how good he's been, he's one of only 3 players who began their career with 25 or more home runs and 100 or more RBIs. Joe DiMaggio and Albert Pujols are the other 2.
Yeah, to do it in 4 straight years.
4 straight years. Yep, first 4 years.
He hits his ball hard over third base, and that is a fair ball. Karam's out into the corner. Gallo will pick it up, or try to anyway. Anderson scores easily from first. He's got great speed. He might have regardless, but Gallo had trouble corralling that ball. Abreu with the RBI double.
Yeah, Abreu smoked that ball. He hit a low fastball and drilled it down the left field line. He got down there in a hurry and kicked off the wall. We'll get a better look at it this way. Goes into the corner, kicks off the wall so hard twice that it caroms by Joey. Abreu was going to get a double one way or the other. And as you mentioned, Dave, Anderson might have scored on it anyway. A well-hit ball by Abreu. The other statistic you could mention on him, in his first 4 years, he's averaged 36 doubles to go along with the home runs and the RBIs.
That was his 10th of the year already. So pacing well in that regard again. 1 strike pitch now to Davidson, and he's over the top of it. 0-2. Matt Davidson, the cleanup man, third baseman tonight. 11 home runs, and you can see his home runs per at bat, or at bats per home run, whatever. He hits them a lot. That is the one stat I will say, Tom. I hate that stat. There's a swing and a miss, and Davidson strikes out.
Well, good. He just struck out. So now, are you happy?
we can just let it go. Yeah.
Well, the one thing about Davidson, he's got those home runs per at bat. But if he never played in Kansas City, they wouldn't be quite as good. He's hit 7 of those home runs in Kansas City, including 3 of them on opening day.
Well, that was a quick at bat right there. Has him talking to himself in the dugout. And now Wellington Castillo. 3-1 our score. We're in the first. Castillo, the man who delivered what would be the game-winning hit last night for the White Sox. 2-run single with 2 outs in the 8th inning. His only hit of the game. Came off a big year last year with 20 home runs with the Orioles. Moore's 1-0, and it's inside and low. So Moore, this will be his 15th pitch of the inning. For Graydon on the curve. Well, he's looking pretty good tonight up against his mound opponent, Carson Fulmer. There's a strike, 2-1.
Good velocity with that fastball too, 94. That was a guy that at one time probably threw 93 to 95 or 6 miles an hour. His velocity's down a little bit, but he popped that one nicely, 94.
Castillo, not sure where he was going. Pretty good pitch, 2-2. Not quite as light on his feet as Adrian Beltre, but similar here. Out of here. Moore's 2-2 and fouled away.
Let's take a look at the Rangers defense tonight, which is delivered by Chicken Express. Same outfield we're accustomed to: Joey Gallo, Delino DeShields, and Nomar Mazara. In the infield, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is at third base, Jurickson again at shortstop, Woodmed back at second base, Ronald Guzman is at first base, and Robinson Chirinos behind the plate again.
This one lined out to center field, base hit. Abreu around third. He heads to the plate. Here comes the throw, and it's cut off. Abreu scores on the Castillo single. So the White Sox plate 2 in the first. It's a 1-run game.
Castillo had the big hit in last night's game. Drove in a couple of runs with a single to right center field. Turned out to be the game-winning hit. There's a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, bottom of the strike zone. Hit this one a little bit harder than he hit the one last night. Last night was a soft single to right center field. That was barreled up pretty well.
I saw that little bobble there by Delino. He has 5 outfield assists. And with Abreu running, you know that was in the back of his mind. He could maybe catch him. There's a smash off of Odor and out into center field. Castillo heading for third, and he'll be in there. So Palka with a base hit. That's 4 hits in the inning for the White Sox.
A tough chance for Rugi. Palka hit that ball extremely sharp. Let's see what he hit. Got a pitch, a fastball, it looked like on the lower inside part of the strike zone. Hit it well. Tough hop for Rugi on a ball hit that hard. Got the glove on it. Would have been a beautiful play if he was able to keep it in his glove. Oh, a little too hot to handle.
Well, the Rangers exploded for 3 runs in the top of the first. Now Moore needs an out to prevent himself from giving them right back in the bottom of the first. Yoan Moncada, their second baseman, fouls off strike one.
Looks like Moncada leads off if he's batting left-handed. That's down in the order, hitting right-handed. He's hit over 300 left-handed, below 200 right-handed. Had a big night last night, 3 for 4 with a double.
Oh, and 2 for Moncada. So a .270 average, 6 home runs. Another one of the bright young and budding superstars for this White Sox team. A little comebacker. Moore has it, and he will throw it high. Guzman just got back in there. My goodness. Well, pitchers taking care of their own business defensively has been a story lately, but Moore gets it done. It's a 3-2 game. You can watch every out-of-market regular season game live at home or in the office, for that matter on the go, with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, which allows you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Just go to MLB.tv for details. All right, here we go now. Now that we're all settled in, we'll see what happens from here. Carson Fulmer struggled through the first inning and deals up and away for ball 1 on Ronald Guzman to start the second. Guzman batting 9th. And he takes a strike, 1-1. You saw there the little highlight in his season numbers, and he has done a really good job driving in runs, especially in clutch spots. Here leading off an inning. One and 2 the count.
The last inning, Dave, we were talking about the control problems that Carson Fulmer has had, and my friend Dale Petrovsky sent me a couple little control nuggets that came to him by way of Ben Nelson, who was a pitcher at South Lake Carroll back in the early 2000s. But they're pretty interesting. When you're talking about guys that have control problems and you want to look at the opposite end of the spectrum, then you go to Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux pitched to over 20,000 hitters and went to a 3-0 count on 133 of them. 6 per 1,000. That's how many 3-0 counts he had. But the one I like, he started 740 games, and in 31% of them, 236 out of 740 starts, he didn't walk anybody in 31% of his starts. But yeah, I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame. I guess it's not shocking when you hear those kind of stats about a guy like him, but
a little bit.
It's kind of rare when you watch young pitchers and you see the command issues that they have, to then go to a guy that had that kind of command. Pretty amazing.
Now, the thing about it is, when he was playing, you know, you knew he was great. You watched him. You could tell that this is an unbelievable talent. And you knew the numbers were wonderful. And we knew that about some of the hitters, the Kirby Puckett's and Tony Gwynn's and the Wade Boggs, and their ability to control the bat too, right? But even still, you hear those numbers, and they're eye-opening.
They really are. So thanks for that, Dale.
I remember we were at the All-Star game. This was a long time ago now. We were at the All-Star game, and somebody was pointing out, you know, Gwynn had really, you know, typical Tony Gwynn, he just controlled the bat really well. And so, okay, he only had so many 6 strikeouts maybe, or whatever it was, 3. But they broke it down a little deeper, and they said he'd only swung and missed in the first half of the season like 7 times.
Wow. I love those kind of hitters.
Down low, and there's a walk to Guzman. So the 3rd walk issued by Fulmer to go with a hit batter. So good start to the inning for the Rangers. Delano DeShields headed to the plate. We check it again with Emily.
Yeah, Dave, the guys have talked about, the disappointments that have happened so far this season, the injuries, the slow start that they've gotten off to. But in talking to Delino DeShields today, he said it's really important, and they've really kept each other accountable on continuing to have fun playing the game. This season has not started the way they wanted it to, and they have had some bad breaks, but it's important to keep that in mind and that be the underlying theme throughout the rest of this thing, because if you lose your joy in playing the game, everything else kind of snowballs from there. So the guys really trying to do a good job of keeping each other in a good frame of mind in the clubhouse, on the field, and just continue to have fun playing the game, even though the results haven't come the way they wanted.
I like that. I think that makes sense, because it can be a grind, and every day there are conversations about working through one struggle or another and grinding out at bats. I think it is important to kind of keep that edge, and Delino does a great job of it. So he takes a strike. It's 1-1. Competes hard, but really embraces those chances, like earlier tonight when he had a chance to maybe throw out a base runner at the plate. That's what you're playing for. That's the exciting moment. Corners in a little bit. Just 1-2.
I'm impressed that there doesn't appear to be any after effects from the ball he took in the left arm.
Well, he's spent 3 weeks on the DL with a broken hand, a hand that an operation removed the hamate bone and came back quickly, like a lot faster than you would have expected. He's always kind of had that edge to him. Oh, that one gets away, and Guzman able to advance to second base. Will likely be a wild pitch.
Look at the ball that just drilled him 94 miles an hour between the elbow and the shoulder. And on the stolen base, the ball bounced up and hit him off the head. Fortunately, the helmet took the brunt of that throw, but at the same time, in one at bat and one stolen base, got drilled twice.
He was getting hitting the head with the ball there.
He didn't want to steal third.
As he was getting slapped in the face with that glove.
I didn't count that.
In the dirt, and it's a full count now.
Not to wear out the same point, but we mentioned that Fulmer in his last 2 starts had averaged 27 pitches an inning and had only gotten through 5 1/3. And already now, with nobody out in the second inning, he's thrown 43 pitches.
Full count here to Delino. And a swing and a fly ball center field. Engel, great speed out there. He's a really good defensive center fielder. Tracks that one down, makes it look routine, and it does advance Guzman to third, but DeShields first out of the inning.
Yeah, we don't get a chance to see Engel play very much, but when you talk to people that do get a chance to see him, they do rave about his defensive ability. Got excellent speed, and if his offense comes around to go with that defense, he'll be a terrific player. Another guy that we see a lot that's kind of like that, that's Jake Marisnick for the Houston Astros. Another guy with good speed, terrific outfielder, struggling to get it going offensively early in his career, though.
Infield all up on the edge of the grass here with Choo at the plate. Guzman at third base, so they want to try and cut him down on a ball hit on the infield, but it does give a little advantage to Choo if he can hit one sharply and sneak it right through. Off the plate, 1-1.
Fulmer has started Choo off with a couple of changeups. When we did the pitch arsenal for Fulmer, it showed that predominantly he likes to feature the fastball almost 80% of the time.
Tapper foul.
Another changeup. At this stage of the game, he pretty much has to go with whatever pitch he can throw for a strike and the best accuracy.
A wild pitch, a fly ball moved Ronald Guzman to third. The 1-2 pitch, a little low. 2-2. Rangers got 3 in the first. Fulmer has certainly created opportunity for them. Once again here in the second inning. 2-2. And that's inside, full count.
In the first inning, Chris Bolstad was warming up for the White Sox. Not warming up right now, but he won't need many to get loose after warming up already in the first inning. White Sox just kind of hoping that Fulmer can get it together and come up with a way to get them 4 or 5 innings. Keep the bullpen from having to come into the game this early.
Already his 6th 3-ball count. And his 4th full count, and he loses Choo. So a second walk in the inning. Rangers have him on the corners. Well, coming out to the ballpark Memorial Day weekend, the Rangers and Royals. First 15,000 fans to the game on Sunday, May 27th. Will receive a Rangers cap courtesy of Carter Blood Care. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. This is where things you would think can get really dangerous for a guy like Fulmer. Obviously struggling with command. Working with base runners once again and throwing a lot of stressful pitches, and now dealing with the heart of the order. Kiner Falefa laid down a sacrifice last time up, but he's looking to drive in a run here. He takes strike 1. Talked about Isaiah before the ball game and the great week he has had. He's hit safely in 6 of his last 7 to the tune of a .320 average. Takes a rare first pitch strike and now fouls this one away. The count 0-2. So Kiner Falefa is the 12th batter that Fulmer has faced tonight, and just the 4th batter to whom he has thrown the first pitch strike. Usually one of those ancillary statistics we keep track of. Good sense for how a guy is commanding the ball on any given night. Hard to have success when you fall behind 1-0 to just about everybody, and that has been the case. Ball and 2 strikes. Well, so with that one there, Tom, Fulmer has now thrown 54 pitches. That would average out to 27 with his first
going to go
per inning.
A little bit over that by the looks of it. That's a hard, it's a hard night for him. You don't wish bad control and lack of success on any big league player, even if they do play or pitch for the other team. A highly touted young kid trying to get it together at the big league level, so you root for him to be able to do that. You don't like to see him go through the pain of control issues.
High fly ball out to left field. Should be deep enough to get a run home. We'll see. Guzman tags. Delmonico's throw is cut off, and Choo tags and moves up to second base. So a sac fly for Kiner Falefa, and it makes it 4-2 Rangers.
Yep. Heads up play by Choo. If you're the left fielder, Delmonico, the only throw is to second base. You know you can't throw the guy out at home plate, and if you just throw the ball into the cutoff man, you risk having happen just what did happen. Choo also tagged up. Take a look at the throw. There's going to be no chance at the plate. With no chance at the plate, why throw it to the cutoff man and let that happen? You might as well throw it to second base and try to keep Choo from getting into scoring position.
So 2 away now, and brings up Nomar Mazara, and with a base hit, he could bring home another run thanks to Choo's base run. This one fouled away. Nomar had a walk and scored a run in the first. By the way, Kiner Falefa sacrificing both at bats now. He had the bunt in the first and the sacrifice fly right there a moment ago.
Yeah, you know, David, just another good example of the things that the Rangers and people who have watched Kiner Falefa over the last month and a half like about the guy. He's just a fundamentally sound player, especially for a young player getting his feet wet in the big leagues for the first time. The ability to get a bunt down when you need a bunt down. He's shown the ability to do that. That time he's behind in the count, 2 strikes against a guy that's all over the place with a pretty good arm and pretty good stuff, and he makes the contact to hit the fly ball to get the runner in. So he's accomplished 2 fundamental things very well in his first 2 at-bats.
1 and 2 on Nomar. Yeah, there was a nice article written by Evan Grant about Kiner Falefa. We talk about Isaiah a lot on our broadcasts. Let's face it, he's started 2 games at short. He started 18 games at second. Tonight is his 10th start at third base. You mentioned all the things he does offensively. He's been so rock solid defensively. And in Evan's article, he spoke to Michael Young about it, and Michael had some really kind things to say about Kiner Falefa. Evan even drew some comparisons to Young's beginnings in the big leagues as Mazara takes a called 3rd strike, and the inning is done. The Rangers will settle for the run. They leave a man out there. After 1.5, they lead 4-2.
There's no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer.
4-2 Rangers lead as we go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Adam Engel leading things off for the White Sox. He takes a strike from Matt Moore. Moore allowed a couple of runs on 4 hits in the first inning. Engel pops this one up, foul ground, and Guzman able to get there, 1 away. We're talking a lot about Rangers' 3rd baseman tonight, Isaiah Kiner Falefa, last inning. And just to wrap up the thoughts, and it was a bit of a stretch, I think, in Evan's article in the Dallas Morning News, but said at this point, Kiner Falefa hitting .261 and OPS over 700. At the same time in his career, Michael Young was hitting .214 with an OPS of 532. So may Kiner Falefa grow and develop into the same hitter and player that Michael Young was. That's a lot to ask of anybody.
Sure it is, but at a young age, it's a good comparison, because when Michael came over here in the trade from Toronto, I think early in his career, those were the same kind of things people were saying about him. And so in a short period of time, just to have people mention Isaiah in the same conversation with Michael is a supreme compliment for sure. And I don't think anyone who's doing that is saying he's going to be just as good as Michael Young, but if he's able to be successful in the big leagues, like his early month and a half in the big leagues indicates he might, then that's the kind of player he will be. Time will tell how much success and how closely he comes to imitating Michael's career, but that's the kind of player he'll be.
And I think on that point, Michael said was he's going to get everything out of what he has, right? He said
good way of saying
he works hard, he asks the right questions, he learns from every experience, and he just feels like you just tell, and just being around him, and of course he's had the history in the minor leagues in the organization, that he's a guy who he gets out everything he can of his ability. And that's a great trait to have. 3-2 to Trace Thompson, popped up. That one staying up there and going to end up in the seats. Thompson, 9th place hitter for the White Sox. A slow start offensively for him. The 119 batting average, about 3 home runs. And he does strike out a lot. Moore's payoff. And a bouncer left side. Profile with a bobble. Now bare hands throws, and it won't be in time. Boy, I don't know how he got that throw off.
I don't know how he got it off. It was a nice play at first base by Ronald Guzman to catch the hop. Jurickson kind of went after this ball a little bit awkwardly. It wasn't hit that far to his right. It was hit right at him, but he kind of tried to backhand the ball with the ball right in front of him. Generally, you see that kind of a backhand when you have to reach to your right to catch the ball. This ball's right in front of him, and wasn't able to come up with it.
The error is the Rangers' 43rd of the year, by far the most in baseball. As Anderson goes after strike one. We'll see if Moore can work around it. Another young player right there in Profar, learning on the job a little bit. 25 years old and getting a lot of starts at short.
He's had a few throws sail on him and a couple of plays like that, but mixed in between those plays have been a lot of really nice plays too. Going to his right, going to his left, showing off his arm. So obviously he's shown that the talent's there, and now it's just a matter of gaining the reps and the experience to make those plays consistently and to settle in on all the routine plays. That kind of the same thing Elvis faced when he was a very young shortstop for the Rangers. I can remember Ron Washington working with him endlessly, trying to get him to develop a certain way to throw the ball. Sometimes he would throw it hard, sometimes he would throw it soft, but a way to develop the ability to make the routine play the same way every time. And gradually, over the first couple of years, Elvis learned to do that, to where those routine ground balls became automatic plays for him, not only catching them, but throwing them accurately to first base. And Jurickson certainly has the ability to do that.
Moore keeping an eye on Trace Thompson over there at first. 2-1 to Anderson. He swings and misses. The skipper was talking about the defense today, right, Emily?
Yeah, Jeff Bannister talked about it. He said, look, not making excuses, but you do have a bunch of young guys playing, and some of them playing out of their natural positions, and so those errors are going to come along with it. But he did say that there does have to be an increased focus on the defensive end, that they do go through this process almost on a daily basis in batting practice. It's something they work on, and it's something that he knows they have to improve on, considering that the margin of error for this team is so very small.
Strikeout there of Anderson, 2 away.
Got Anderson to swing and miss at a fastball, and then he got him to chase that curveball well out of the strike zone. Anderson, early in his career, is a little bit over anxious at the plate. He swings at too many pitches out of the strike zone. Got a lot of physical ability though. But his ability to zero in on strikes and take the balls will determine how far he goes as an offensive player. He had 17 home runs last year, so he's got some power too. Power and speed.
Well, now Nicky Delmonico flat out to left in the first inning. Swings and foul tips that one. It's 0-2. All right, our Kubota power stats for Matt Moore. His career in this ballpark: 3 starts, a 3-0 record, a 1.50 ERA. It's his second lowest earned run average at any ballpark. The only place he pitches better in that regard is in Anaheim. Tough to improve on a 1.50 ERA anywhere, but believe it or not, he has done so. So great numbers here, a lot of success against the White Sox. Today working on 4 days rest for just the second time this year. dirt. 1-2. Delmonico, 6th round pick by the Orioles back in 2011. He's 25 years old. Good baseball family. Uh-oh. Man, that one got way in on him, and as he was trying to get away from it, turned, it looked like kind of opened up to it a little bit. That one really struck him oddly. Yikes.
That must have hit him in a very tender spot. Evidenced by the pain that he's in right now. Like his arm went numb on him. Let's see where that hit him.
Yeah, off the forearm or wrist. Yeah, that right arm.
Boy, we've seen a lot of guys getting hit in the wrist. Just hear the way that hit, how solidly that hit him. Goodness. That's not a good look the way he's walking off the field.
I hate to see that. Delmonico will lead the game. And the White Sox will have to use a pinch runner here for him. Well, that got him right on the top of the hand. Look at that. Yeah. Ooh. So Larry Garcia takes over on the bases and no doubt in left field. And we'll go back out there. There it is. Wow. That's a pretty quick reaction.
No doubt where that ball hit. And that, you could tell by the sound and then obviously by the video of it that that was not a glancing blow. That ball hit solidly, squarely in the top of his hand.
So now 2 base runners out there for Jose Abreu. I had 2 strikes on him too, so you know more. Well, shaken up by losing him in that spot like that. Abreu had the big double in the first inning. It was wacky. I mean, he hit it hard down the line and then into the left field corner. Banged off one wall, and it looked like it was just kind of rolling to the next wall. But when it hit that wall, it sprung off that outfield fence really hard.
Yeah, that's how hard he hit that ball. It was picking up steam as it got down the left field corner. It's kind of like that tee shot you hit today.
Off the cart path?
No, not that one. That one drive you hit was that ball went farther than any ball I ever saw that never got 3 feet off the ground.
Yeah. Quality shot.
I mean, most balls that go that low hit the ground after 50 yards. That thing went about 175 yards that high before it ever hit the ground.
1-2 on Abreu.
That had a launch angle of like 0.
Yeah, hardly an angle at all.
But an outstanding exit velocity. And more importantly, it was in the fairway
for a good portion of its to the right.
Yeah.
1-2. And Abreu will do it again. Well, the White Sox got a couple of runs in the first and threatening for more here in the second inning. It hasn't been a cakewalk for more tonight either. Both starters have really had to battle it tonight. Carson Fulmer is sort of slogging through the first 2 innings. Moore needs one more strike to put up a 0 here. Here it comes. And a foul ball. So Abreu. Hard hit ball, by the way, is anything hit 95 or better. Exit velocity. He has 69 of them this year. Nice. Second most in baseball.
Yeah, and when you get a chance to watch him play, that stat is not surprising. He constantly hits the ball on the barrel of the bat. Has an ability to hit the ball with an inside-out swing on the pitch that's way inside, and that allows it to get on the barrel of the bat when it's inside instead of off the handle.
Good job of fighting off a couple of close pitches in this at bat. He's fouled off 4 in a row. Third place hitter, great run producer, 22 RBIs so far this year. He pointed out a couple of times, better than 100 RBIs in his first 4 years in the big leagues, and hits this ball on the ground. It's short, off of profile, and then it just dies out there in left field. Thompson is in. Crow goes to second, but Abreu slides in with a second double of the night. And it's back to a 1-run lead. Garcia all the way to third, but that was never in doubt.
Nice try by Jurickson, who actually gets his glove on the ball. Curved ball that Abreu again hit solidly on the ground. But if the ball doesn't hit Jurickson's glove, it was hit hard enough that with Joey Gallo's arm and charging the ball, he might have had a shot at the plate. The other side of it is that Jurickson is able to knock the ball down, then maybe the runner doesn't score from second base. So nice try. Another double ends up as another double for Abreu.
Breaking ball in there to Matt Davidson for a strike. Of course, again, I go back to that at bat with Nicky Delmonico with 2 strikes, got hit on the hand. It looked like Moore was, had that at bat under control, but then lost him. And that got Abreu up. Strike pitch, and that's very high. 1-1.
Well, the White Sox obviously over the last couple of years have been in a rebuilding mode. They've traded a number of frontline players, Chris Sale being one of them, for as many young prospects as they could accumulate. The one guy they haven't traded has been Jose Abreu.
One and two now on Davidson. Showed a lot of power last year, his first full season in the big leagues. But his OPS, or rather on base percentage, last year for Davidson was .260. He struck out a ton. Again, talk about young players and some of those growing pains, and that's part of it. I do see a lot of promise in Davidson. It's a full count. So this season you can see he's done just a demonstrably better job with patience at the plate. 23 walks in 150 appearances. So 6.5 plate appearances per walk. That's 6th in the league. Last year, 23 plus plate appearances per walk, which was the 8th highest. He wouldn't accept a walk. 30th pitch of the inning, and Moore loses Davidson, and that loads him up.
Yeah, for Matt, that's 53 pitches. Trying to get out of the second inning right here.
So for Moore, his first walk tonight, and that puts an end to a stretch of 17 innings for Rangers starters without a walk. And Doug Brocale heads out there.
You know, we're talking about some facts that have been very interesting. The control of Greg Maddux, the drive that you hit so far that was only 2 feet off the ground. Here's another one for you. You and I both have at least 3 layers of clothes on, including a very warm Ranger jacket.
Yeah.
And Ethan our statistician is sitting over there in a short sleeve shirt, which I guess shows who's from Chicago and who's from Texas. That's pretty impressive, Ethan. Looking down in the stands, I can't find anybody down there with a short sleeve shirt on except kids.
Yesterday, Ethan just said, this is beautiful. This is what I live for right here. Yeah, mid-50s.
Ethan leaves his windows open in the wintertime when he's at home.
Summer in Chicago. It'll get hot here soon enough. Well, the bases are loaded. Might be getting hot for more. Wellington Castillo is trying to knock that one right over the fence. Had an RBI single in the first inning. .342 average with the bases loaded. A long bottom of the second for Moore. Been an error in the inning. That has not helped. And the hit batter with 2 outs. Also contributing to the situation. And there you see Garcia at third, Abreu at second, and Davidson at first. Garcia the pinch runner for Delmonico, who was hit by the pitch. Yesterday, the majority of the offense came late in the game. Today, it's been early. The 0-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. So Moore gets a big strikeout to leave the bases loaded. Now, coming up in the third, Profar, Gallo, and Rougned Odor for the Rangers. And as expected, Leury Garcia stays in the ball game in left field for Delmonico. We'll no doubt get an update on Delmonico as we move on here tonight. Meanwhile, Carson Fulmer out for Moore, and he gets Jurickson Profar here. Profar drove in a couple of runs with a base hit in the first inning. Fulmer threw 59 pitches in his last start. That was number 61 here tonight. So at least in one way you measure these things, a little bit deeper today. Boy, it has been an absolute struggle for him. We talked about it last inning. You don't wish that on anybody. He was the 8th pick overall in that draft in 2015. He just hit Profar on the foot. So here we go in the third inning. A hit batter to start it. That's how things got started in the first inning.
Well, both managers are trying to get as much out of their starter today as they can. You see that a lot this year. That back foot breaking ball, slider, sometimes a curveball. Stands his ground and the ball hits him in the back foot. That kind of a pitch. The pitcher is trying to make sure he keeps the ball down, tries to get it on the inside part of the plate. And if he hangs on to it just a little bit too long, he pulls it down so far that it ends up hitting the batter.
Gallo takes a big rip. Joey had an RBI single in the first inning. 1-1.
We showed the pitch arsenal for Fulmer. It showed fastballs almost 80% of the time. And over the last probably 20 or 30 pitches, he started to throw a lot of changeups and more off-speed pitches, probably because he's having a hard time locating his fastball.
This ball hit hard out to right field, base hit. Profar around second. He'll go to third, and so a hit batter and a single. The Rangers have him on the corner.
There's a couple of off-speed pitches there to Joey.
All right, gives us a moment now for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with John Radigan. All right, thanks, John. And that's bold by Bassick, the best hitter in the game, Manny Machado.
Well, as part of the pregame show, there were several people trying to pick the best hitter in the game, and I think what they all tried to do is pick someone different.
Oh, okay, all right.
So with that in mind, that's a pretty good pick. And if you're just going by what's happening this year, it's a really good pick.
Yeah, that's a tough one. We do that all the time in those pregame segments, right?
Yeah.
Who'd you pick as the best closer in baseball the other day?
I went with Josh Hader from
Hader,
Milwaukee,
that's right.
only because I've seen some highlights of him, and when he's on, his stuff is virtually impossible to hit.
Odor takes one down. It's 1-1.
A little bit like Andrew Miller in that regard. Kind of a sweeping breaking ball, mid-90s fastball. Corey Knebel was the closer and doing a nice job for Milwaukee, but he was hurt. And when he got hurt, Josh Hader has taken over and assumed that role, doing a nice job himself.
Odor struck out in the first inning, so he's 0 for 1.
But to call him the best closer of baseball might be a little bit of a reach.
Yeah, it goes back
but
to
we
the
were all
point.
trying to pick someone different,
And we
just for the sake of discussion.
And I remember, so I took Wade Davis, the Rockies, my argument being that he's saving a lot of games in a place that's very difficult to pitch.
Yeah.
And he was leading the world in saves at the time. But
Someone picked Aroldis Chapman. Hard to argue with that for 102 miles an hour.
But the answer to the question, right, is in Boston. And surely somebody, I hope we got that right.
I think Kimbrel was the most obvious, and so people tried to stay away from that. Maybe I actually picked Kimbrel and then changed because I didn't want to pick the most obvious.
Yeah,
guy.
that's the other part of the game that we do to ourselves. It's, well, I'm not going to say the best home run hitter of all time was Hank Aaron. That's too easy. I'll go with somebody else. 1-2. Leaving things up on Odor. So how about this? The Rangers have scored 4 runs. And just looking at it here, all 4 guys that have scored got on by virtue of something other than a base hit. 3 by a walk. 1 was hit by a pitch.
This game is probably not going to help the pace of play very well.
Commissioner's on the phone.
No, when the commissioner, he's going to say, all right, let's not count this one.
Stays 2-2. Yeah, I wonder how that sort of thing works for him sometimes when he tunes in a game. Says, golly, come on now. And it's by nobody's fault. Been a lot of interesting suggestions lately, kind of circulating as people discuss this topic, ways to increase the pace of play. There were some initiatives taken this year by Major League Baseball. The mound visits, the most obvious. Between innings, they've tried to tighten things up. Relief pitchers and the number of pitches you get between innings. Little bouncer down to first, and the throw to the plate, not in time. Profar gets under the tag, so he is safe. 5th run of the game. And it looks like he comes up smart. He's only dived like 3 times tonight. I think he's had enough of hitting the turf.
Actually, a nice play by a big guy, Jose Abreu. He could have fielded the ball and tagged Odor, but he gave it a shot at the plate. And he makes a nice play on the run, got rid of it quickly like an infielder, but not quite in time as that beautiful slide by Profar allowed him to get in underneath Castillo's tag. Boy, that's a pretty picture. And umpire DJ Rayburn right on top of it, made the right call.
So everybody's safe. Gallo at second. Odor at first. Still nobody out, and Chirinos now takes a strike. Robinson 0 for 1, so far is fine. But you can tell, and I saw it earlier on one of his dives out there at shortstop. He got up and, you just get a little spot that can get a little raw somewhere. It seems like when that happens, you find yourself diving more and more and just aggravating it nonstop. One of those nights, I guess, for Jurickson. Another mound visit here. Castillo will trot the ball out. I believe that's the third that they have used. So that's kind of interesting. You only get 6 a game. Speaking of our pace of play initiatives.
I'm going to keep from tossing in my sarcastic comment about why Castillo's going out to the mound. He's probably figuring if he goes out enough, they'll have enough visits where they have to take him out.
Thomas
couldn't resist that one.
Field a double play depth, and Chirinos showing bunt. I mean, this has been the night of small ball. Sacrifice bunt, the sac fly, the walks, the hit by pitch. In this era of the long ball and strikeout, today's game quite the departure from the norm. 5-3 Rangers lead. There is activity again out in that White Sox bullpen. Looks like Volstad maybe getting ready out there again. Corners are in. 3-1. Volstad working on a perfect game out there. Pitch count, though, probably elevating just a touch. Big right-hander. I'm sure he's ready anytime they need. Homer's 3-1, and that one almost hit Chirinos. Instead, he walks him. Homer, a black belt in karate, among other ways in which he's displayed athleticism, but his skipper comes out. We're going to take the baseball from him. So that will be all tonight for Carson Fulmer. And a tough night it was for the 24-year-old right-hander. He is done. Volstad coming on for the White Sox. No big deal. You can stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports Go app, presented by T-Mobile. So bases loaded and new pitcher coming on. It's a good night for some ice cream. You think she's worried about the pace of play, Tom?
I have a feeling she's not worried about the pace of play, and I have a feeling she was promised that ice cream cone before she ever came to the game tonight. And she was going to get it one way or the other. Didn't matter whether it's cold or not. You promised.
Chris Volstad offers a strike to Guzman. You see Volstad's numbers. I'm going to ask him to throw multiple innings here tonight. Misses to take the count to 1-1. Guzman walked and scored a run in the second inning. Rangers 5 runs on just 3 hits. Of course, last time Guzman was up, we talked about his ability to drive in runs. He's done a really good job that way. The rookie first baseman, 12 RBIs coming into play. And there you see what he's got out there. Gallo, Odor, and Chirinos third to first.
Got a good shot here. Ahead in the count. Chance to look for a fastball. Even better right now.
Did you have a favorite count as a hitter?
I think any hitter likes to be ahead in the count. A lot of guys like the first pitch hitters. I guess if I had to pick a count, probably would have been 3-1. Pretty tough to argue against that for a hitter.
Takes a very close strike, and it's a full count.
That's okay. He still has another pitch. That one wasn't a perfect pitch to hit. Let's take a look at where it was. In fact, it's perfect pitcher's pitch, really. It's sinking down at the bottom of the strike zone. Pretty tough to do anything other than hit a ground ball with that pitch.
Spoils that one. Stays full. So here you go, rookie RBI leaders in the American League. Tyler Austin with 19 to lead the way in New York, but Ohtani with 17 and Duhar with 14, and there's Guzman.
It's interesting when you look at those numbers and see how many young players the Yankees have on that list. You think of them as a veteran team with inside corner. Volstad made a good pitch with Stanton, Judge. Judge not really a veteran player, but an established player. You can see the movement brought it back just enough to catch the inside corner. That's a nice pitch by Volstad.
So Volstad gets the first man he faces. And now we'll deal with the top of the order. Here is Delano DeShields. He's been hit by a pitch. He's also flied out to center.
You talk about Stanton, Judge, Sanchez, Gregorius, Gardner, veteran guys that form the backbone of that offense, and then you mix in those three young guys, three rookies on the team. That's a pretty good blend of youth, talented youth, and star veteran players.
Well, we'll get a chance to look at them firsthand on Monday. They come to town.
Good challenge for the pitching staff. That's some kind of high-powered offense.
Here a chance for the Rangers to kick this one wide open. Bases loaded, one out. On a chilly, drizzly evening here in Chicago. Finds the outside corner, strike two on Delano.
Well, Volstad with not much margin for error. The bases loaded. He's doing a pretty nice job of locating his sinker.
He's on in relief for Carson Fulmer. It's the fifth time in the last 8 starts that Fulmer couldn't get 5 innings. 2-2 now, the count on DeShields. There's Gallo, and he singled to right field earlier. Odor reached on a fielder's choice. He's now at second, and there's Chirinos on via the walk. DeShields with 6 RBIs this year. 2-2. Bouncer knocked down by Volstad. He'll go to the plate, and they get the force out there for out number 2. Yeah, good play by the rangy pitcher.
Yeah, he would have had, well, no, probably not a chance for a double play with Delano running. So he got the one out he wanted to get, the lead runner. Leave the bases loaded, but get the lead runner, keep a run from scoring anyway.
So 2 gone now, but the base is still loaded. Odor, Chirinos, and DeShields now for Choo. And Choo has walked twice tonight. Those were against Fulmer. Had 2 hits yesterday. Turns away from strike 1. Well, 3 grand slams in Choo's career. Rangers have this odd knack this year of hitting their home runs with the bases empty. Quite a sight to behold. A grand slam. 0-2 the count on Choo. Coming into play today, the Rangers, what, 51 home runs? Yeah, 40 of them have been solo shots. 11 with at least a runner on base. There's a swing and a drive. Deep to right field. Gone! There's your grand slam! Shin-Soo Choo has really opened this one up for the Rangers.
Boy, what a change of events for the White Sox and Chris Volstead. Volstead came in with the bases loaded and nobody out, struck out Guzman, got to Shields on a force out at the plate, and then got ahead of Choo, no balls and 2 strikes, and came in with a pitch that Choo hit out of the ballpark. It looked like he was on the verge of getting out of the inning, but that ball came back over the middle of the plate. Most of them had started out inside and come back and just barely caught the corner. That one caught the heart of the plate at the wrong time, and Shin-Soo was ready for it. What a big hit.
It had been 8 years for Choo, but that's his 4th career grand slam. Makes it 9-3 and clears the bases now for Isiah Kiner-Falefa.
That's Shin-Soo's first home run in 25 games.
We talked about that quite a bit lately. It seems that he got on that real hot streak and then he just cooled off a little bit lately, but that was a big one right there. I think he had fun too. I think he really enjoyed that.
Volstead made a lot of good pitches and right on the verge of getting out of the inning, and the one pitch he throws that comes back over the middle of the plate turned into a grand slam.
Two of the runs charged to Fulmer. 2 of them go to Volstad. So the Rangers had done it all night. I don't want to say it was smoke and mirrors, but a lot of walks and hit batters and that sort of thing. So finally there, feels good, to muscle up a little bit. One-two. Missed by much, but it'll even things up on Kiner-Falefa. Isiah with a sacrifice bunt and a sacrifice fly. So not a whole lot to show for his night at the plate. It's a full count. Sac fly, though, gave him his 12th RBI of the year, which put him into a tie with Guzman, 4th in the American League among rookies. And he is in the top 10 in the American League in a lot of offensive categories for rookies. Bouncer, second base, handled by Moncada, and the inning is done. But the Rangers add 5 runs in the 3rd inning. The big blow. Shin-Soo Choo's 4th career grand slam, and the Rangers on top big. Rain starting to come down just a little bit more here. Matt Moore now working with a big lead, though. Goes to work against Daniel Palka, and his fastball in there for a strike. Need to correct something I said last inning. Probably not the type of thing that jarred a lot of people, but it was a mistake. It's a high fly ball out into center field. Looked like the lineup had a little trouble with it initially, but tracks it down, one away. Of the runs that were allowed, Fulmer, the starting pitcher for the White Sox, absorbs 8 of the runs, not 7, as I had mistakenly said last inning. So he takes 8 of them. Volstad only responsible for the 1 run, the Choo portion of that 3rd inning. Anyway, 1 away, and here is Moncada, and he takes strike 1.
This is what it was doing early in the game. This kind of mist to us, rain to the people that are down there feeling it.
Yeah, I think they were rained out on the north side today. Or are they on the road?
Yeah, they're on the road.
1 and 2. Count Moncada. Moore's 1-2. Slow chopper, third base, and hangs up there a little bit on that last hop. And Kiner Falefa retires Moncada, and there are 2 away. Well, Rangers fans, come on out May 24th for an autograph session with Rangers outfielder Nomar Mazara at the Whataburger, 3204 Townies Boulevard in Mesquite. Starts at 10:30 a.m. While there, sign up to be the Whataburger Whata fan, and you could win tickets to a Rangers game and Whataburger for a year. Go to TexasRangers.com/appearances for more information.
I remember a game at Comiskey Park, which used to be right across the street, and the fog was rolling in. I happened to be in left field, and you could see it kind of pouring in over the roof in left field, and it would come straight down to the field. But there was about an area of maybe 50 to 75 feet near the fence where it was perfectly clear as it came down and drifted toward the infield. And Nellie Briles, I believe, was pitching for the Rangers early in that game in the first inning. I think there's a couple of men on base, and someone hit a high fly ball that neither Juan Beniquez, who was in center, nor I could see until it came down and splat in the outfield right between us, as clear as a bell, but could never see it go up in the fog. And this isn't quite as bad as that, but not a day at the beach out there for sure.
Well, doesn't look like fun. Odor fought with it, but a 10-pitch scoreless half inning takes us to the 4th. High Socks for Hope, and what a great charity he and his wife started in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Helped support those in Texas who were victims of the Hurricane Harvey last summer. He's a great spokesperson for the Wounded Warriors Project. Great man. And of course, former White Sox and now a Yankee who will be in town in Arlington next week. Raining here as we go to the 4th inning. Nomar Mazara to start things off in the 4th for the Rangers. Up 9-3. Volstad, a breaking ball, fouled away. 0-2. So quite the ball game. 3 innings in the books. And it's a messy scorecard already. Grand slam by Choo right now, the big highlight for the Rangers. A shift on here against Mazara, and he'll hit right into it. The shortstop Anderson is there, and he throws out Mazara, 1 away. Here comes Jurickson Profar. Profar had that 2-run single in the first. And he'll see a shift here. In fact, the third baseman Davidson jogging further over towards second base in that shortstop position. So they're giving Jurickson the entirety, almost the entirety of that left side of the infield.
Yeah, this is one of those interesting plays. It's early in the game, so I don't think the other team would go berserk if you bunt. But a lot of times when you've got a 6-run lead, people say, well, you're piling on if you bunt. But at the same time, when the other team puts this kind of shift on to try to take away a hit, to me, you have every right to bunt. You don't want him to bunt. play a man at third base and keep him from bunting.
Yeah, I agree. Bounces out. A 6-3 put out, and there are 2 away.
So many people, the way they interpret that so-called unwritten rule is the offensive team and an offensive player is penalized because you have a lead in the game. And with that lead in the game, you're going to try to play a defense that keeps them from getting a base hit. And at the same time, playing that defense with the idea he can't bunt because they have a big lead. And I never really bought into that theory. Now, if you play the third baseman where he would normally play, fine. Then I'm not going to try to pile on with a bunt. Playing me honest, I'll try to hit a base hit by you.
Seems like a lot of the quote-unquote unwritten rules penalize hitters, right? I mean, the opposite of that would be, so if you're winning big, you can tell me the pitcher for the winning team, like, well, you can't be throwing curveballs.
Yeah, throw fastballs. Let him hit the ball.
Fouled away by Gallo, 1-2. I mean, you're taking away an element, a weapon, a strategy, whatever, from an offensive player by saying you can't bunt because I'm working on a no-hitter over here. In case you didn't notice.
Yeah, that's the one that in a close game, late in the game, you can't bunt because the guy has a no-hitter.
Please.
You think the other team cares if he has a no-hitter? And if it's a fast runner whose part of his game is bunting and he's trying to get on base in a close game, why can't he bunt?
Well, Gallo goes down looking here in the 4th inning, and so that's the first scoreless inning posted by a White Sox pitcher. All right, welcome back. Bottom of the 4th inning on the south side of Chicago. Rangers with a 6-run lead. Chase Thompson will lead things off for Chicago. Yeah, the offense provided by that guy. Grand slam by Choo in the 3rd inning, 4th of his career. So it'll be the 9th place hitter, and then back up top as Thompson fouls one away. Moore has retired 4 consecutive hitters and a perfect 3rd inning after, you know, a longer first in which he faced 7 hitters and then a 7-batter 2nd inning. 1-1 the count. Thompson reached on an error, scored a run in the 2nd. Moore, to his credit, has limited the damage to 3 runs at this point. Breaking ball makes it 1-2. Now he had a lot to follow here tonight. Last couple of starts by the Rangers have been very, very good. 2-2 the count. It was always fun when there's that healthy competition too, Tom, in a pitching staff. Some guys are really clicking, and Bartolo has been the clickiest of them all. Every time he goes out, it seems like he does something special. And Fister followed yesterday. There's a strikeout of Thompson, 1 away. So this was the last 2 days for the Rangers. Pretty good stuff, somewhat historic.
Yeah, you look at what they've done, Cologne and Fister. 2nd time in Ranger history that the rotation has posted back-to-back scoreless and walkless starts. Only other time that happened was back in September of 1974. Jackie Brown and Bill Hands, back-to-back complete game shutouts without a walk. That was the 2nd year of play at the new Royal Stadium back then. And Bill and Jackie pitched those games. Outstanding games the last 2 starts, but not quite the same as what Jackie Brown and Bill Hands did back in 1974. Complete game shutouts with no walks.
Up high, 2-1. You were there to see it.
Yeah.
Not as a broadcaster either.
No, not as a broadcaster. That was a good year. for the Rangers, 1974. Rangers had an outstanding record. Billy Martin managed the team.
Was Jackie, I mean, that would have been,
I think that Billy Martin was there in 74.
would have been Jackie's best season. Yeah, that was Billy Martin, an 84 win season. Down low, it's a full count. Yeah, 84 and 76 under Billy Martin, and that was obviously at the very end of the year there in September. 11-0 on the 28th in Jackie's game, and then the next day 5-0. You guys were rolling.
Pretty nice back-to-back games right there.
Chopper at third base, and that one just did turn foul. Nice effort by Kiner Falefa though to get to that one. Trying to keep it fair.
If that stayed fair, Isaiah was not going to have a play on Tim Anderson. Anderson had a hit in the first inning. Prior to that, he was hitting 143 in the 15 games leading up to tonight's ball game.
Now inside, that one skips away, and Anderson will head to first. Base runner in this fourth inning. Hey, host your next group or company outing at a Rangers game where groups of 20 or more enjoy significant savings off gate prices. You can add on picnic areas, meal deals, or other experiences and make your group outing even more memorable. Go to TexasRangers.com/groups and plan that group outing today.
Interesting statistical note for Tim Anderson. That was his 13th walk early in the season. That's how many he had all last year. So he's on pace to obliterate his walk totals from last year. Something I'm sure he's working hard to try to do. You don't want to walk 13 times in 162 games.
Yeah, well, that was better than 600 plate appearances last year for Anderson. Really amazing. So here is Garcia, Yuri Garcia, who came in as the pinch runner and then left fielder in the second inning after Delmonico was hit by a pitch. Takes high, it's 1-1. And it was a fractured bone in Delmonico's right hand. We did receive word on that. He will be out 4 to 6 weeks as a result. So that was
that's too bad. Well, it looked like it too. The pain he was in, the sound, how it squarely had hit him, and then the end result that we showed what it looked like, that giant bump and bruise in the middle of his hand. Sorry to hear that that's the end result, but boy, unfortunately, that's exactly what it looked like.
This was the second inning. Yeah, just got him square on the top of the hand, back of the hand, or whatever the terminology is. 2-2. So Garcia, who started yesterday, ends up in this game and will play nearly all of it as a result. He was 1 for 4 yesterday, and this one popped foul out of play. 2-2. Well, Moore has had to work around a lot of traffic in this one. This will be his 85th pitch of the night. And it's poked down the right side, foul and out of play again. Ooh, swing and a miss. And Garcia strikes out, 2 away here with the 4th inning. Well, let's check in again with Emily Jones.
Obviously, Matt Moore has struggled to start this season. I asked Jeff Bannister what it was going to take for him to show some progress, and he said what he needs to do is build on each inning and then multiply. Also hold that delivery together when he's in the stretch. Obviously, he struggled in the first couple of innings of this game, but if he can string a couple of those innings together like Banny talked about and hopefully build on something for his next start, guys.
Well, given a little run support today, and it hasn't been the prettiest start, but if he can get another out here with the 4th inning, then maybe pitch a nice clean 5th, like you say, something to build on.
Now, if he gets a quick out here in the 4th, it'll be 2 1/3 with 3 strikeouts. So he'll be on the verge of finishing this game nicely. Good curveball today. That's what he struck Garcia out with, and that's what Abreu just missed.
One-on-one the count. Now Abreu has a couple of doubles today. Both of those drove in runs. And with Anderson down there at first, he would be a threat to score for sure. Abreu now with 11 doubles on the year. Abreu, a product of the great Cuban pipeline that the White Sox seem to have. They do a great job of getting some of the great Cuban players from their World Series run in 05. Guys like Wilson Contreras, El Duque, Orlando Hernandez. Alexi Ramirez played here for 8 years.
The Cuban Missile, they called him.
Abreu and Yoan Moncada on the team now. They signed Luis Robert last year for $26 million. They expect him to be up here in a couple years as their center fielder. Full count now on Abreu. So they've done a really good job down there. Now some of that was under the leadership of Kenny Williams. Rick Hahn, the general manager here in Chicago now. And Hahn really trying to rebuild things on the south side here. Trading away guys last year. Trying to get a lot younger quickly. And they did a really good job last year. They've got some more guys that I figure will be on the market again this year. 3-2. Check swing, and he did not go. That one misses for ball 4. All right, so check this out, Tom. This was during the Garcia at bat. Now, after a foul ball, catcher will usually get a ball from the umpire and then throw it back. Sometimes the umpire throws it back himself. Trinos didn't get it. Yeah, I'll just pretend to throw it. A little bell tray going there.
Anytime you see a Ranger do that, it comes straight from Adrian. That's the exact kind of thing that Adrian would do, and it rubs off on the rest of the guys. They like to have fun like that as well.
All right, Banny out there, and he is signaled. So Moore not going to get through this 4th inning, and leaves with his team in front by 6. But the night done. Rangers into the bullpen. Here comes Jesse Chavez. 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central, only on FS1. Bottom of the 4th inning, and with 2 men aboard, 2 out, Jesse Chavez comes out of the pen.
It's a nice spot to be coming in if you're a middle reliever. Those are Jesse's numbers on the season. 27 strikeouts in 24 innings. That's pretty impressive. But more so in this game, it gives Jesse Chavez a chance to get a win. As a starting pitcher, you can't get a win if you don't pitch at least 5 innings. Matt Moore did not pitch 5 innings, so the Rangers enjoying a nice lead in this game. If Jesse can come in and pitch well, you can't just come in now and get the win. You have to, in the eyes of the official scorekeeper, at least hold your own as a pitcher to get the win. So assuming he does that and the Rangers hold the lead, he could get a win.
he'll get the cleanup man, Matt Davidson. A couple of men on here. Davidson struck out and walked. White Sox have out-hit the Rangers in this one. 3 runs on 5 hits. Rangers 9 runs on only 4 hits. One of the hits netted 4 runs. Those are fun. Choo's 4th grand slam. Anderson at second, Abreu at first, and this one gets away. Both runners will advance.
A slider that slid too much.
Big wild pitch eliminates that force play out on the bases. Boy, both these teams gobbling up the mound visits today. 3 remaining for either side. 3-0. There's a strike. Full count, so Chavez battling back here to get this thing to the 5th inning. It's been a chilly, rainy, and at times drizzly night. 53 degrees at game time, and I don't know, might have dropped a little bit since then. This ball hit well out to left field. It will get down. Anderson is in. Abreu scores easily. Davidson will tiptoe into second. A 2-run, 2-out double. It's 9-5.
Just like the Rangers, Dave, you were mentioning the Rangers scoring a lot of runs by guys who got on base without getting a base hit, walks or hit by pitches. And in this inning, Anderson, Abreu both walked and both scored on that double by Davidson.
So those 2 runs charged to Matt Moore's line, and now Castillo. Castillo was the man in the 2nd inning who struck out with the bases loaded. RBI single in the 1st. At the time, it was a lot closer game, and now his team down by 4, but a man at second, and it's 1-1. So Moore, in his 3 2/3 tonight, allowed 5 runs, 4 of which were earned. Long way to go on this one. Sometimes you just get that feeling you're on a bit of a carnival ride. 2-1 the count. You just don't know which way this one's going to zig and zag. A somewhat frustrating night for Moore again. Fly ball, center field, hangs up for the Shields. The inning is done, but White Sox add a couple. We go to the 5th inning tonight, 9-5. Opener. And that will put an end to this long road trip. We're headed home. 3 with the Yankees starting Monday, and then a 4-game series with the Royals Thursday through Sunday over the holiday weekend. So I hope you'll come out and join us for some of that before the club heads out west again for the Mariners and Angels. In fact, a lot of in-division games coming up after this next homestand. All right, bottom third of the order, Rougned Odor, Robinson, Chirinos, and then Ronald Guzman here in the 5th inning. 9-5 the score. Rangers have scored 9 runs on 4 hits. Chris Volstad came in to finish up the 3rd, pitched a scoreless 4th. In fact, has turned back 4 consecutive Rangers hitters after the Choo grand slam.
Yeah, Volstad has pitched well. He almost pitched out of that bases loaded jam. The one pitch that killed him is pretty obvious, and that was the 0-2 fastball that tailed right over the middle of the plate that Choo hit for a grand slam. And he got the 2 outs before that, came in with the bases loaded and nobody out. And since the home run, he's retired 4 straight. So he's thrown well, except for that one pitch.
Whoa. Well, the kneecaps, 1-1 to Rugi. He was activated a week ago today, last Friday, when he came off the disabled list when we were in Houston. Odor now 3 for 21 since coming back, so still waiting for that bat to heat up a little bit. Hits this one well out to center field. Engel goes back, but he has just enough room. And Odor got that maybe up into the bat a little bit. 1 away.
Yeah, it carried pretty well. Engel did a nice job. Got back quickly, circled underneath it, waited for it as it came down instead of timing the ball and catching it just as it got to the fence. Yeah, it looked like he might have hit it just enough off the end of the bat to keep it from going out of the ballpark. With Ruby's power, if he hit it with that trajectory on the barrel of the bat, he absolutely could hit it out of the ballpark in that area. Wind is kind of drifting out in that direction anyway.
Now Robinson Chirinos has walked and grounded out. One to count, and we still don't know who's going to start tomorrow's game for the Rangers. Remember, Cole Hamels was scheduled to start yesterday's game, scratched with a stiff neck, and we saw Fister fill in admirably yesterday. Didn't know for sure who would start today, but after the game yesterday, we found out, yeah, Moore is going to move up a day. Matt Moore started today, didn't go well. Today, Banny asked about 7 or 8 different ways who might start tomorrow's game. And he kept saying TBD, to be determined. Now, one of the angles that a lot of people were wondering was, well, could it be ABD who would be TBD tomorrow? Austin Bivens Dirks. And so the excitement was, hey, he's going to start or was scheduled to start tonight for Round Rock. They were playing in New Orleans. They got rained out. So we don't know.
Don't know.
Everyone was like, well, if he doesn't start, then he'll be headed here. We'll know. But no, they were rained out, so we don't know a thing. As Chirinos lines that one back up the box for a base hit.
We were talking about Robinson. Last 3 games, 4 hits and 3 walks. Is he starting to get hot? Well, he's keeping it going this game. He had a walk and scored a run. And that ball had some exit velocity as it zipped up the middle. They had a little hooking action from right to left down when it was hit so hard.
I love the way he's swinging it these days. More on Robbie checking again with Emily.
Yeah, guys, Robinson Chirinos says he feels like he's seeing the ball much better. I asked him, you know, with all the, not distractions, but, you know, the preoccupation with his family and the things that were going on with his sister and her applying for political asylum here, and now that that's over, does he feel like maybe he's a little more free in his mind? And he said, you know, we try to isolate those things and not to bring them to the field, but he said it makes sense that that would have been on my mind and not be able to necessarily compartmentalize that all the time. He said, I don't know if that's the case, but I do know that I feel like I'm seeing things better at the plate, and I feel like my mind is clearer now that those personal issues have been resolved for the time being.
Well, that's a good point, Emma. It sounds like he didn't want to use that as an excuse, but at the same time, it sounds like it probably did have something to do with it. How could you have the concentration you need to hit the big league level with all that going on in your personal life?
Yeah, seems pretty reasonable that would be a distraction. And then on the other side of that now, maybe it's just a gigantic relief. Obviously, it's a huge relief for him. And back to work. It's been a real successful return for him. A little grounder, shortstop. They'll flip to second one, and the fire on the first in time. The old 6-5-3 double play. The inning is done. We're halfway there tonight. 9-5 Rangers. Might be dancing in the aisle with the hot dog guy. Long day, but it's not bothering him. All right, here we go. Bottom of the 5th inning. Polka, the big designated hitter, is an infield hit. He was also flied out to center field.
Polka was a waiver claim from Minnesota, and he got a pretty good look last year. He had 301 at bats last year for the White Sox, even though he only hit 166. A pretty extended playing time.
Two and one the count. Originally a 3rd-round pick by the Diamondbacks in 2013. Grew up in South Carolina and was a standout player at Georgia Tech. Lines this one into right center field. That's a base hit. Polka turns aggressively, but will slam on the brakes.
Actually, cancel what I just said about that, Dave. It's not true. I don't want to peddle fake news.
What was the fake news?
The fake news that Polka had those at bats last year for the White Sox. I was looking at something else. Sorry.
Yeah, no. This is his first taste of the big leagues this year. But it was a waiver claim.
It was a waiver claim. Well, the waiver claim, I'd give myself 10% right on that.
Yohan Moncada takes a strike here. Moncada 0 for 2. This guy promoted last year in late July. Struck out a ton, but boy, there is a lot of upside for this switch hitting middle infielder. He pops this one foul. The count 0-2. You can see Moncada hitting for great power. He's good defensively. Nice strong arm and good range defensively at second base. Could run a little bit. 0-2. Pulls this one into right field. That's a base hit. Kick up a rooster tail of water as it rolls out there to Mazzara. And the first 2 men on in this 5th inning.
Mentioned that Moncada has hit much better right-handed than he has left-handed. But he gets a base hit right there. Like maybe a cut fastball on the inside part of the plate.
Here's Adam Engel for 2 tonight. 9-5 our score, but more base runners for the White Sox. Rips that one foul.
Moncada in last night's game against Doug Fister was the leadoff hitter as a left-hand hitter, where he hits 300 tonight. Down in the order, batting right-handed, where he hits below 200. Back to hitting left-handed, drove that base hit. 3 hits in last night's game.
Got some good young talent Chavez to the plate. Swing and a miss. 0-2 to Engel. This guy 26 years old. Played his college baseball at Louisville. Nice run. He was a 19th round pick in 2013. Made his big league debut last year with the White Sox. He takes high. In fact, he was called up in late May. Got in a game, had his first start. Was optioned back to AAA Charlotte on June 9th. 3 days later, he and his wife Jamie had a baby girl, their first child. And a week after that, back to the big leagues. High pop-up, third base side. And coming down with the rain, right into Kiner Falefa's glove.
I have figured out the source of my error, though.
Okay.
I had said that Palka had 300 at-bats and hit 166. Someone did have 300 at-bats and hit 166. It was Engel. It wasn't Palka.
Okay.
I just wrote it down. I had the right stat. I wrote it down under the wrong guy. So glad I figured that out. That would have bothered me.
Yeah, so there was a lot of
I couldn't imagine manufacturing that line. It had to come from somewhere.
Trace Thompson takes high for a ball. So really, I mean, it was like all right answers. It's like filling out a Scantron on a test, right? You were just one off on where you bubbled in.
It was so close.
It's like the,
yet so far away.
It's like the week of star testing back home. And let this be a lesson to you, youngsters.
You can get the right answer, but if you mark it down for the wrong question, not going to get you very far.
Thompson 0 for 2 today. That was off the handle. Pop foul, first base side. Nicely done by Guzman, 2 away. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with John Radigan. All right, yeah, thanks, John. Here, a 9-5 ball game. And Tim Anderson. They're hacking. He is 1 for 2 with a walk. He has scored a couple of runs. Speedy leadoff hitter tonight. Chavez trying to make it a scoreless 5th inning. That one's outside. 1-1 the count. Well, every once in a while it clears up a little bit here, and I think maybe we'll be done with the rain, and then it starts coming back in again, and it's coming back in again.
It's taken a while, but with one more out, this will at least be an official game.
2-1 the count to Anderson. We were talking about this on the bus today. This is one of those little research projects for somebody that'd be kind of fun, because we say it all the time. Well, get in 5 and then you know, we'll see. But they seem so reluctant anymore to call a game. You know, I mean, they might go into a delay, pull the tarp out, and wait 4 hours to get the last couple innings in.
Yeah, with all the rainouts that there's been.
And I don't understand sometimes why they don't just say, like, well, we've played 5. It's raining really badly. It seems absurd to wait 2 or 3 more hours. Why don't we just call it?
Well, back in I don't know how many years ago, but we played a game here at the old ballpark at Comiskey. It was supposed to be a day game, and they made us wait over 7 hours before they called the game in that lousy little clubhouse over there.
But a game that hadn't started.
Had never started. Yeah. Never started.
Swing and a miss, and that strikeout ends the 5th inning. This game is official. And Chavez puts up a 0 in the 5th. Through 5 tonight, Rangers with a 4-run lead. The victory this evening. Lost a heartbreaker yesterday. Ball game certainly appeared they were on track to win. Great start by Doug Fister, but then in the 8th inning, Chicago exploded for 4 runs, erased a 2-0 Rangers lead, and then the Rangers couldn't get it back in the 9th. And it was a game in which all 4 runs by the White Sox were unearned. Those you don't see very often. Delano DeShields, top of the order in this 6th inning for the Rangers.
You know that game I referenced where we had to sit here and wait so long? T.R. Sullivan, watching the game right now, has a much better memory than I do. It was 1990, a Sunday, and the game had to be made up in Arlington a week or 2 later. So there's all the details for that game.
1-2 to count. 7 hours, so
I'm not sure. It might have been more than that. I can't remember the exact hours. John Blake's probably watching. He knows the minute, hour, and minute of that game. I think it was more than 7 hours. I just remember I wasn't at the game. And Bobby Valentine must have called me from his office about 5 times.
Chopper's shortstop with a regular defensive alignment right there, and a 6-3 putout. Retires DeShields here in the 6th inning.
If I remember right, it was also in the hands of the White Sox, not in the hands of the umpire, which made it even more maddening. Anyway.
Yeah, because it's in the hands of the home team until those lineup cards are exchanged. And then the umpires take over. So that you were the GM back at home. I'm sorry. I hope that they.
There's nothing you could do about it. They weren't going to change their mind.
Big night for Choo. Couple of walks and a grand slam. He scored twice, driven in 4. Gets this ball in the air, left field. Garcia waiting. 2 away. So this was the 3rd inning. And we go back and forth a little bit, waiting for a big hit in the game, and with the bases loaded, it was Choo.
0-2 pitch. Before that and after that, Chris Volstad has pitched very well. In fact, before that and after that, he's only given up 1 hit. That was Robinson's line drive up the middle.
Yeah, then he was erased on a double play.
It's the only other base runner we've had since. Right before they came in with the bases loaded and nobody out, almost pitched his way out of it. In which case this would be an entirely different game right now.
1-0 to Kiner Falefa, and Isaiah 0 for 1. He grounded out in the 3rd inning, but laid down a sac bunt in the 1st. Drove in a run with a sacrifice fly to left in the 2nd inning. Batting 3rd tonight, playing 3rd base. Hits this ball hard on the ground, shortstop, but out on the edge of the grass. Anderson throws out Kiner Falefa. And the Rangers go in order in the 6th. To the last of the 6th we go. The Rangers leading it 9-5. Rangers. Harry Garcia leading things off here. That one comes way in on him.
So I have the rest of the story.
Yeah.
The rest of the story that most people don't care about, but nevertheless I'm going to finish it anyway. T.R. Sullivan finished up the story. Game time was 1 o'clock. The ball club left Comiskey Park for the airport at 9:30. The White Sox kept saying there was a window of opportunity.
The infamous window. There's always a window. 2-1 on Garcia. 9 hours of waiting for a window.
There couldn't have been 100 people in the stands. Two and one.
And the swing and a miss. Might be wrong there with Garcia.
He twisted his leg while he followed through on that swing and a miss.
That didn't feel good. He's 0 for 1. It's his ball on the ground. One hop to Odor. Way out on the grass. Throws over to first, and there's one away. So Jesse Chavez came in with a couple of base runners on in the 4th inning. Allowed a double that scored both runs, but a total of 3 hits allowed so far. He technically is not allowed to run to his line. As you see Alex Claudio getting ready. One out for Jose Abreu. A broken bat comebacker. Chavez had to wait for a minute or two and finally gets his first baseman. 2 gone. All right, now time for a word from our friends at Southwest Kia.
$250 down, $250 a month or less on select new Kias in stock only at southwestkia.com.
2 quick outs. Jesse working efficiently here in the 6th, and now looks at Matt Davidson. Davidson doing what good hitters do. After 2 quick outs to start an inning, take your time getting in there. He takes strike 1. Jesse is now retired 5 straight hitters. And on a night like tonight, that's significant. Little bloop. Right side of the infield.
That's a couple of blasts right there by Abreu and Davidson.
Yeah, and an 8-pitch inning for Jesse Chavez. We go to the 7th. Military partners. Okay, Aaron Bummer is on here for Chicago. In his 21st appearance of the year.
21st appearance, and in 20 appearances he only appeared in 12 2/3. Kind of the definition of a left-handed specialist.
Well, he gets Mazzara to start things here in the 7th inning. Mazzara, then Profar and Gallo. Nomar with a walk. He's also struck out looking, grounded out as well, and takes that one on the corner. It's 1-1. Five hits on the trip. A couple of doubles, a triple. It's our 3rd stop, the road trip that started in Houston. 3 games over last weekend. 2 games in Seattle, and now this 4-game series in Chicago. One of 3 trips this year for the Rangers. Take them to 3 different cities. Got one right before the All-Star break, and then one late in the season as well. 2-2 the count. Last year the Rangers tied a record, at least for the last, I don't know, 15 years or so, for the most 3-city trips in one season. They had 7 road trips last year that took them to 3 cities.
Are you a fan of the 3-city trip?
I am not.
No?
I'm not. No.
I actually am. If I was, if I was broadcasting the whole season, I would rather have a fewer number of 3-game trips than a lot of road trips of 1 or 2. He beat it.
Wow, Mazzara with an infield hit, hustling out that one, and a little smile on his face. No doubt his teammates.
On this road trip, he's had a couple of balls hit to the infield that he almost beat out. And that time he hit one to the left side, and they couldn't get him.
That wasn't even that close.
Third baseman really didn't do anything wrong. He fielded it and threw it. He was just, I guess, too far away for the throw to get there in time.
Emily, what was the reaction down there in the dugout?
Yeah, he was halfway down the first base line, and the dugout knew he was going to get it. Adrian and Elvis both yelling, beat it, beat it, beat it, as fast as they could and as loud as they could. And that's why when Nomar crossed first base and glanced over at the dugout, he had that big smile on his face.
I think it was a combination of Davidson not being used to playing where he was playing, almost at shortstop, and maybe taking Nomar for granted and thinking he had plenty of time to make the play.
Good play there by Anderson. Maz, after he got across first base, acknowledged teammates. Well, now he's in scoring position after the ground out. And here is Joey Gallo. Joey with a couple of hits tonight. Maybe he's about ready to get going. He was hitless in the opener yesterday. His 2 hits tonight. Double his total for this road trip. 0-2. Yeah, so with the road trips, though, Tom, I would agree. Like, I don't like the quick outs. I also, the killer, the one thing you just don't like at all on a baseball schedule is a homestand of just one series.
Yeah.
Right. A 3-game, 4-game series, and then back
on the road for a week. Come home for 3 games and go back out for 10 days. Yeah, that's the worst. That might as well just be a long road trip.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like once I get out on the road, I don't mind being there. I don't really care how many cities you go to. So I'd rather have a fewer number of long trips than a lot of shorter trips.
I'll say this, we do definitely a little more golfing on the road than at home. I can't at home with the kids.
No.
Outside 2-2.
Kids just ruin everything, don't they?
Let's see, what time is it? Oh, yeah, they're in bed. Yeah. It's a killer. I get up in the morning and then you know, it's all about them. Two to Gallo, and he works the count full. So Bummer has given up the infield hit, gotten the ground out. He is the 3rd pitcher of the night. Guys obviously in the cool weather tonight allowed to go to their mouth while on the mound, just can't be on the rubber. Ooh, good. Yeah, and strike 3 called. So Gallo down looking, 2 away.
Looked like a cut fastball, I guess, that started out inside, maybe a slider, and cut right across and caught the outside part of the plate.
So now another left-handed hitter. That Odor 0 for 3. So it was a really good spot for Renteria to work Bummer in there, and Odor accommodates with a pop-up down the 3rd base side and foul ground. The inning is done, so the inning started with an infield hit. But the Rangers can't do anything with it. They stand and stretch here tonight in Chicago. Hours of coverage. The world's largest sporting event is just 30 days away, only on Fox and FS1. Sales doing well today. Look at this. The Nook of the North. Enjoy that. So back to kids. The kids are awesome too, right? Because there are no weather conditions that would prevent them from eating ice cream. Bouncer foul. Castillo 0-1 the count. Chavez out for a little more work.
Had a quick 6th inning. Nothing close to a hard hit ball in that inning. A little broken bat tapper back to the mound, and a little blooper off the handle that Ronald Guzman caught by Abreu and Davidson.
Five, 6, and 7 hitters in the 7th inning. 1-1 the count. So it's kind of interesting the way this one worked out today. Both starters scuffled from jump. Carson Fulmer went 2 innings. Matt Moore went 3 2/3 innings. And so a lot of bullpen action from there. 9-5 Rangers lead. Did you see the story about the Tampa Bay Rays and what they're going to do tomorrow? This is an interesting one. Now I would have thought nothing of this until I saw some of the, I guess, the research that was put into this move. But they're going to start Sergio Romo tomorrow. And the idea being that Romo, who's normally back into the bullpen guy for them, will, as a right-hander, square off against a lot of the great right-handed hitters for the Angels and in that first inning. So, you know, you like the right on right, let's say, against Trout. This one lifted high in the air out to left field.
I didn't know those guys had a hard time against right-handed pitchers.
Well, I mean, I don't know that that is even necessarily the point, but they're called up. So Tampa Bay's called up a young left-hander who's going to sort of make the start, right?
They're going to spare him the first time.
Spare him the first. Yeah,
that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, and so instead of a closer, you have more like an opener.
I like that idea.
Yeah. Well, Jeff Bannister has gotten some length out of Jesse Chavez today. Great job. And Alex Claudio ready to come on in relief. Rangers leading it 9-5. Yeah, thanks, John. And what a start they're off to in Milwaukee. Of course, still battling with the Pirates, Cardinals, Cubs. Alex Claudio on here in the 7th inning for the Rangers with 1 out and nobody on. It's a left-handed hitting Daniel Polka. Jesse Chavez, really good job tonight. 2 2/3 scoreless.
Gave up back-to-back hits to start the 5th inning and then pitched easily out of that jam. Probably the last 6 he faced. Another softly hit ball.
Comebacker for Alex Claudio. He gets more than his fair share of those. 2 away. That brings up Yohan Moncada. So here was the other part to finish up what we were talking about Tampa Bay Rays. Here's what I thought was kind of interesting about their thought process there. Number one, kind of protecting the young left-hander coming up. But number two, you know, we all sort of think about the 9th inning as that critical time. You got to have that flamethrower out there. You know, it's a really important inning. And I guess in a way they presented an argument that statistically that really isn't true. The fewest runs on a per inning basis are scored in the 9th inning. The most runs on a per inning basis are scored in the 1st inning, at least in the DH era since 1973. Bouncer third.
How much of that is because a lot of times the home team doesn't hit in the 9th inning?
Well, I was just talking about, I guess, the half inning of an inning. Yeah. Anyway, it's a 1, 2, 3. Let's go to the 8th. 450 on base percentage for Chirinos on this road trip. Best on the team. He's done a fantastic job. Emily was talking about it earlier. Maybe a clearer mind now that everything straightened away with his sister Rosemary, and she achieved political asylum here and can stay in the United States. His family is safe and secure here stateside now, out of Venezuela. Today he has walked and singled. Also grounded out. 8th inning, 9-5 our score. There's a time in this game where it was hard to imagine we would get to the 7th inning. And certainly that there wouldn't be more scoring. The way things had started, 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 5 in the third. And 2 the count now on Chirinos.
The Rangers from Carson Fulmer had 2 hit by pitches and 5 walks. They made good use of their hits because there was a lot of men on base for them.
1-2 on Chirinos. Now coming into this series, 4 games, it's kind of an unusual amount of time to be spending head-to-head with a team. It makes it very difficult to win a series. It's hard to take 3 out of 4 in baseball. Rangers are going to have to win all 3 games this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if they're going to do it, because they dropped the opener yesterday. But this is against a team that came in 10-29. The White Sox got the win yesterday. And there's a swing and a miss. Chirinos strikes out to start the 8th inning. Tomorrow, we get started an hour earlier. And we don't know who's starting yet for the Rangers. Rich Rice, our PR person with us here on the team, told us before the game we won't know until afterward. They'll discuss it and make a decision. Lucas Giolito has the ball, though, tomorrow for Chicago. Swing and a miss by Guzman for strike 1. It could be that Cole Hamels will be ready to go tomorrow. That is a possibility. It could be that they call someone up. I'll tell you one thing that is not going to happen, that though it was never articulated by anybody on the management side, but had to be batted around a little bit, was could Jesse Chavez step in? But not now. He worked hard tonight. Bouncer first base. Abreu will take it himself, 2 away. Chavez threw 43 pitches in his 2 2/3 innings. Meanwhile, Aaron Bummer trying to make it 2 innings here in relief for the White Sox. Last inning, give up the infield hit, but he has since retired 5 straight, including 2 strikeouts. Delino scored a couple of runs tonight, reached on a fielder's choice, was also hit by the very first pitch of the game tonight. That set the tone. I'd say it was a short night for Fulmer, White Sox starter, but really quite the opposite. It was a very long night for him, even though he only went 2 innings.
Yeah, he pitched 2 innings and then didn't get anybody out. 4 batters. Well, he had 1 out. Fielder's choice, I guess. No, he didn't get the out. There was a fielder's choice, but Abreu threw home and didn't get the runner, so he never got an out in the 3rd inning. He threw a lot of pitches. He was averaging 27 pitches an inning in his last 2 starts coming into this game, and he was way over that today in only 2 innings.
He threw 75 pitches. Bouncer
37.
base.
He's up to 37 an inning now.
That's really kind of incredible. Well, Delino grounds out. It's a 1-2-3, top of the 8th. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. Always a beautiful scene. The Windy City. Today it's been windy and rainy. Adam Engel Leading things off here with the 8th inning for the White Sox. They trail 9-5. Engel and Trace Thompson, the 8th and 9th place hitter, and then back up top for Tim Anderson. Claudio got the final 2 outs of the 7th inning and goes to work here in the 8th. And Alex, the 3rd pitcher of the evening for the Rangers. Drops right in there, 1-2. Line shot foul. Stays 1-2. Engel last year talked earlier about his call up, that wild journey early in his big league career. Sent down, had a baby, called back up again. He hit 168 last year. He struck out 117 times in 301 at bats. And he chops one to shortstop. Profar's throw is a good one. 1 away. Anyway, that would be a lot of strikeouts. So it's a high strikeout rate.
Yeah, and if you're a guy like Engel, who has the excellent speed, the one thing you have to concentrate on is trying to make some contact to take advantage of that speed. Whether you're stretching a single into a double, beating out an infield hit, learning to bunt, whatever it takes to get on base to utilize your speed.
Thompson's 0 for 3. Did reach on an error and then score in that 2nd inning. But it has been a struggle offensively for him this year. 1-1. Tommy mentioned it about an inning ago. Chavez gave up the back-to-back hits to start that 5th inning and then really dialed it in from there. Since those 2 hits, the Rangers bullpen has retired 10 straight. Well, make it 11. Nice play by Kiner Falefa.
Really good play. Backhand play, tricky hop. With every play he makes, he shows the good hands. Ball seems to hit him in the pocket of the glove most of the time, and they're not always easy hops. This one takes a tricky little hop that goes right in the middle of his glove. And his arm is accurate, regardless of what position he's playing.
We've kind of lost track of the fact that he had been converting to catcher the last 2 years. And really this year, I mean, it was all about really becoming a good catcher. But based on the injuries and everything else, it's forced him up here. And he's been an infielder. Starts at 2nd, short, and 3rd base.
And to have that experience behind the plate just prepared him for whatever his role might eventually be. And if it turned out that his role was going to be as a utility player, being able to catch adds a lot of value. Have that 3rd catcher be someone who is identified as the 3rd catcher in an emergency, regardless of whether he's caught before. Someone has to go back there if you had an injury to 2 players. But if your 3rd guy is a guy that's also been groomed to be a catcher, so much the better. That's if he ended up being a utility player. But you don't want to limit someone as a utility player. They end up being a regular. You have a hard time picking what position it might be at, but the other thing, sometimes a super utility player can be almost a regular and not play the same position all the time. Just get time in a lot of different positions. Could probably easily play the outfield too. If you can learn to catch and play shortstop, you have to think that he could also play the outfield if he had to. He might be a candidate to be one of those guys to play all 9 positions in a game.
Another Mark McLemore.
Scott Shelton. Shelton did it for the Rangers way back in the 90s.
2-2. Poked down the first baseline foul. Henderson stays alive. A hit today, a walk, a couple of strikeouts for him. One hit out to the gap in left center field. Drop in. That's a base hit. Anderson, throw the parachute there. 2 out single for him. And he continues. And hey, Red Raider fans, Fox Sports Southwest wants you to show your school spirit at a Rangers game. You get discounted tickets for the May 22nd game against the Yankees. And you get a free Rangers cap in Raider red and black for the first 2,000 fans with the event ticket. Just go to texasrangers.com/TTU for details. Base runner here in the 8th inning for Garcia, and he takes strike 1. Strike pitch, and he chops it foul. Garcia came in this game in the 2nd inning as a pinch runner for Nicky Delmonico, who's hit on the back of his hand, left the game. Found out that he fractured a bone in his hand and was out for 4 to 6 weeks. And Garcia, switch hitter, got his first at bat of the 4th inning. Batted left-handed against Moore. There's a ground ball to shortstop, and the force out at second will end the inning. Another man left. We go to the 9th. Rangers lead it by 4.
In the 1st inning, it was Jurickson Profile with a base hit up the middle to score 2, and then Joey Gallo ripped one in the gap in right field. That scored the 3rd run in the 1st inning. And then the clincher on an 0-2 pitch came in the 3rd inning when Shin-Soo Choo went deep for a grand slam. That's our 4-game summary.
And a good one at that. So Choo will start things here in the 9th inning. Good night for him. A chance to add to it. Joaquin Soria, new pitcher in the game for Chicago.
And for Soria, his 15th game. He's been working sometimes as the closer. Not with a lot of success so far this year. Opponents are hitting .290 against him. His ERA is a little bit elevated.
He's been scored on in 3 of his last 4 outings.
I saw Nate Jones get the save in the game, and Soria has 4. Nate Jones has 2. So different guys getting a chance to close games. And I can't say they've had a lot of opportunities so far this year.
Yesterday was just their 4th home win of the year. They are 4-15 at home. Not a whole lot better on the road. 1-2 pitch, and Choo stays alive. One of the problems for Soria has been the first batter he has faced. The first hitters are batting almost .430 against him this year. So having a hard time keeping that first guy off base. Choo trying to continue that trend. They play him to pull on the infield. 2-2. Not a whole lot brewing for the Rangers since that grand slam by Choo in the 3rd inning. Shoots this one foul to the left side. Up into that rain. 2 for 4 yesterday with an RBI. In fact, he's driven in 5 runs already in this series. Choo. 5-game hitting streak for him, and he lines this one to center field, so his second hit tonight.
Now, one of the games in Seattle, we were talking about the need for the veteran guys on the team to assume a larger role in the offense, and so it's nice to see Choo swinging the bat well, and he's had a good game today. He's walked a couple of times, hit a grand slam, and now hit a bullet up the middle. And also Robinson Chirinos, who's had a nice series, been hot the last 3 or 4 games. If both of those guys get hot, Choo and Chirinos, that just takes a little bit of the pressure off some of the younger guys, and obviously 1 through 9 makes the offense a lot more consistent.
No doubt. I mean, we've seen with Choo over the years, when he gets going, when he gets hot, he's one of those guys. He can get on base at a ridiculously high clip, and like today, he's been on 4 of the 5 times he's come up. 0-2 the count on Kiner Falefa. So he might be heading right into one of those little stretches right now. We had a crowd tonight, 16,373. And a good number of them have sought protection elsewhere, I think. And stays 0-2. Actual people in the ballpark thin just a little bit. Tomorrow, I was just hearing before the ball game today, we were hearing that tomorrow night might not be any better in terms of weather. 0-2. This one down the right side, but slices up into the seats. So the rookie Kiner Falefa continuing to battle the veteran and Joaquin Soria. One-time Kansas City Royal. Loose baseball. Soria born in Mexico, Monclova, Mexico. And a bouncer left side. They'll go to second 1, and the relay not in time. Kiner Falefa hustles it out. 5-4, force out at second base. But just 1 away.
It's going to be tough to turn this ball. Isaiah runs pretty well, takes a high hop. Davidson has to wait back on it. Moncada got rid of the ball quickly and made it a close play at first base, even though off the bat it didn't look like they were going to have much of a chance to get a double play.
So Nomar now. He's been on 2 of the 4 times he's been up. A little tough lately for Nomar. He needs a couple of games to get himself back on track again. Still, in sum, it's a really good month of May for him. His 7 home runs in the month, tied for 3rd. His 12 extra base hits. Another real good year. Still early on. This is just the 46th game of the season, but big strides again for the 23-year-old Nomar Mazara. He fouls this one away. We've always lauded him for his ability to use the whole field as a hitter, and he does. He does a really good job of that. But we more and more have seen teams employ the shift against him too. The White Sox doing it here. Now the White Sox, they like to shift. They're one of the shiftiest bunches I've ever seen.
Well, he's got a base hit on the ground ball to the left side today. He beat one out, and he's got another one. So maybe they'll stop shifting quite as much.
The second hit of the night.
Kind of hack that ball on the ground. That's all you have to do when there's only one guy playing on the left side of the infield.
So here you go, little proof. These are shifty characters. 34% of the time, second most in baseball.
He just kind of chopped down on that high fastball. And with a normal alignment, that's an easy tapper to third base, but with nobody over there, it looks just like a line drive in the newspaper tomorrow.
Profar up now. One away, and he swings and misses. So we noted that they were the second most, I don't know, common shifting team. The Astros shift more than they do, and by a wide margin. I mean, that is a lot of shifting for Houston. The Royals, the Rays, right there. These are the only four teams that shift more than 30% of the time. Renteria hiding behind that bar. Kiner-Falefa is at second. Mazara is at first. This one flared out over second, drops in, base hit. Kiner-Falefa being waved. Here comes a throw, it's up the line and gets away. Rangers score their 10th run of the game. Both runners move up a base, and Profar picks up his third RBI. It's 10-5.
Well, you know, we were talking about Jurickson's hit in the first inning that drove in 2 runs. He just hit a little ground ball that found a hole up the middle, and this time he gets jammed, and it's just a little blooper into center field that scores another run. So on 2 softly hit balls, he's driven in 3 runs. And the thing we added to that was he's had a lot of good swings over the last couple of weeks, hit a lot of balls hard that have been caught, and eventually it has to turn your way, and today's a good example of that. It turned Jurickson's way, and a couple of soft hits fell in, and he's knocked in 3 runs.
Rangers not done. Gallo drives this one out to right center. That one will roll to the fence. Mazara is in. Profar right behind him. And it's 12-5 Rangers. A 2-run double by Gallo. And Joey having a good day. His 3rd hit of the night. That guy, Joaquin Soria, not having a good day.
It's kind of the definition of a hanging curveball right there. That one just stayed up, belled high, and Joey ripped it into the gap, took advantage of that pitch.
Gallo with 3 hits. Profar with a couple of hits. Both of them driven in 3 runs today. It's going to be a fun box score to review. Choo 2 for 3 today with 4 RBIs. Rangers season high dozen runs. Most of them early. Little tapper. It was a 5-run 3rd inning, a 3-run first, 3 runs here in the 9th. Single tally in the 2nd inning today. Still just one out here in the 9th inning. Good heckler's night. Step out of the box, you're going to take some abuse. 1-2. Dort could really use a tonic of sorts here. He needs something to get in the action just a little bit. 0 for 4.
Well, it wouldn't be the most meaningful hit in a ball game, but you're right. It would mean a lot to him to kind of salvage a night instead of going 0 for 5, make it a 1 for 5, and at least go to bed knowing that the last at bat was a solid at bat where you got a base hit. Make you feel a little bit better. Going to bed, waking up in the morning. Overall scheme of things, it doesn't mean much, but this one moment in time, it does.
Yeah, I think especially given that everybody else is having a lot of fun today. Running around the bases, coming up with hits. Got foul in a hurry.
Sawyer's had to throw 25 pitches. He's only gotten 1 out.
His ERA is going to take a beating from this one too. 3 runs already across. It was an error in the inning, but I don't think that's going to factor in. Now after that double, there's a strikeout of Odor, 2 away.
Sawyer's trying to throw it down and in. He got it up and away, but the result was favorable for him.
Chirinos has a hit tonight, a walk. He's bumped that average up over 200 now. 12 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for the Rangers tonight. 5 runs, 9 hits, and an error for the White Sox. Apparently can't help himself from hearing some of the comments, whether they're from the bench or the stands.
I can hear them from up here, clear as a bell. Not every conversation, but individual people yelling. And there's a big crowd. It all blends in, but not now. Perfect night for a heckler. That's what they move. That's what they moved down there for.
Those guys have been dreaming of a night like tonight.
You know what though? They're still buying concessions and staying till the end of the game, so go for it.
1-2 the count. One, two. Now, not real sure how the Rangers are going to play it in the bottom of the 9th. Well, Alex Claudio has done a nice job, and we've seen him go for some length in the past. Barnett just recently got up out there, so he may be asked to throw the 9th inning. I don't know. We'll see. It's a 7-run lead. And Chirinos yanks that one just foul. Not by much. Good night offensively. Two and is fouled back again. Boy, Soria get a week's worth of pitches in tonight.
Come in to get an inning to stay sharp and end up throwing double the amount of pitches you hope to throw. He's thrown a lot of strikes, 26 strikes, only 6 balls. But of those 26 strikes, I bet you more than 10 of them have been fouled off.
What if I told you exactly half of them? 13.
That's what it feels like.
There's a swing and a miss. Chirinos eventually down on strikes. The inning is done, but the Rangers pick up 3 more. Now the last of the 9th coming here on the south side. All right, yeah, thanks, John. We'll look forward to it. Rangers leading 12-5, and Tony Barnett is out here for the 9th inning.
We'll take a look at Tony's numbers for the season. It'll be his 9th game. Got his ERA down there in respectable territory. And a great opponent's batting average, 179. Tony features a fastball, a curve, a splitter, cut fastball. And he'll face the heart of the order: Abreu, Davidson, and Wellington Castillo.
So Abreu's had a good night, 2 for 3 with a walk. And both the hits were doubles.
Tony's last outing in Seattle, if memory serves me, was one of his best outings. Pitched 2 innings and was untouchable. Had great stuff that day. Good to see from Tony.
Right in there for a strike. 1-1. Yeah, that was on what, Tuesday, right? Tuesday was the game we did Tuesday night. Yeah, he went 2 scoreless in that one. 6th and 7th innings. Really good. And there's another strike. 1-2 the count. White Sox have put some men on base tonight. They have the 5 runs on 9 hits. They stranded 5 runners in the first 2 innings. And that was pretty critical. Go back to the strikeout of Wellington Castillo in the 2nd inning, and that might really have been one of the key moments. Kept the Rangers out in front, allowed them to add to that in a big way. Choo's grand slam would happen in the next half inning. Count stays 2-2. After the game, the big news will be who will start tomorrow's game for the Rangers. We know it'll be Lucas Giolito for the White Sox. Will Hamels be ready to go? Will they have to call somebody up? Abreu, check up that swing. He fouled it. It's interesting. I think he convinced plate umpire DJ Rayburn that he fouled it. I think Rayburn might have been thinking that it hit him.
He was expecting something on the outside part of the plate. He was kind of diving into that pitch. It really wasn't a pitch that should have hit him if he wasn't moving in that direction. It's a great night to get a foul ball if you're at this ball game. Not a huge crowd, and it just seems like there's been an enormous amount of foul balls going on in the stands, one right after another. There's got to be people with multiple.
Oh yeah. Stays 2-2. So good battle here between Abreu and Barnett. 9th inning at a 7-run game, and Abreu will see a 9th pitch in this at bat. Gotta believe that's a little annoying if you're Tony Barnett. And he strikes him out swinging. So Abreu.
Yes, he was annoyed.
Yeah, that's enough.
Take that, Jose. Good low fastball. Abreu not a huge strikeout guy, but could catch up with that one.
One away from Matt Davidson. Matt Moore started 3 2/3 tonight. Jesse Chavez, you would suspect would be the pitcher of record for his 2 2/3 scoreless. And Claudio, an inning and 2/3. Now Barnett. There's a fastball in there for a strike. 1-1. Well, they haven't given up though. Hats turned inside out. Look at that.
Yeah, they stopped worrying about the score a long time ago. They're just out to finish out this game and have a little fun. By the looks of it, they also don't have anywhere else to go except home. So they might as well stay out as long as they can.
They've been on the move, that little group. They moved right behind home plate in the White Sox on deck circle. There to offer a lot of encouragement, I suspect. 3-1. That's fouled the far end of the dugout. So Abreu worked the count and battled up there against Barnett. And now Davidson fouling off some pitches. Ball 4, so he draws the walk.
So here's one for you. You were talking earlier about ways to speed up the game that people are looking at. How about this? After you get 2 strikes, you're out after the second foul ball. If you hit a third foul ball, you're out. Kind of like you bunt on a third strike, you're out. After you get 2 strikes, you get 2 foul balls, and after that, if you foul one off, you're out.
Yeah,
to keep from those 15 pitch at bats.
I wondered about putting a limit on the foul balls.
That really wouldn't dramatically change the game that much. Might not speed it up all that much either, because how many times does that happen? But probably happened several times tonight.
I'll tell you one thing: that somebody can do the math, right? They can go.
Yeah.
They can go research that data. I think there might be something to it. I don't know what do you think the right number should be on foul balls with 2 strikes?
Well, you can get foul balls early in the count, but once you get to 2 strikes, it's just a matter of how severe you want the penalty to be. I'd toss out 2. You get 2 foul balls and then you're out.
0-2 the count on Castillo. Should somebody tell Castillo real quick?
Because so many times a guy will have a 12 pitch at bat and you foul 7 pitches off, and people will go, "What a great at bat." Well, there's 6 pitches right down the middle that you didn't put in play. You fouled them off. So what's so great about that at bat? The fact that you stayed up there so long, especially if you make it out. How great could it be? You're not trying to foul the balls off. You're trying to hit it, and you're failing one right after the other.
Yeah, it depends, right? I mean, sometimes
I'm not
guys foul off
taking the
good
extreme other side of that view. I mean, there might be some times where you're facing a good pitcher and you're fouling off good pitches, and there's something positive about that. You make the starter throw a lot of pitches, but for the most part, a great at bat is when you hit a rope somewhere, not when you foul a ball off.
Tom, I think you're onto something here, because here's the thing.
It's not that dramatic a change.
It's
really
not that dramatic a change, and I can't answer this. You would know this as a hitter. If you know that fouling off, 2 pitches or something, you're done. Does it change the way you battle on that pitch?
Yes. I'm not sure exactly how, but if I know that I'm out, if I foul the next pitch off, something's changing.
So you think
it might not change the outcome, but something in my mind has changed for sure. that I know I have to put this ball in play if I swing.
Because we talk about two-strike approach. Right now it's not even a thing anymore. Guys still, like, your game is to hit a home run, keep taking that big swing. So do you think it would force guys to become better contact hitters?
Maybe.
And put it in play a little more, which is, I think, really what they're after.
Yeah. And a lot of the guys, the big strikeout guys, they probably don't foul that many pitches off anyway. They swing and miss so many times. They're going to be out anyway.
We have 8 foul balls so far this half inning.
I'd love to know how many have been in this game.
We saw, well, look at the top of this inning, we saw 13.
Well, there's over 20 just this inning.
Yeah. Tom, I think this might be the one. We got to send this to Jason Stark. We can write a 3rd article about this. There's a swing and a miss. And Castillo strikes out for the 2nd out of the inning.
Well, you know, in that article that he wrote, there were some, you know, outrageous ways to speed up the game, I would call them. And, you know, I don't think any of them are ever going to happen. Maybe 1 or 2 of them have at least a discussion. But the foul ball one, I don't think it's that dramatic a change, really. But baseball is not quick to change.
Daniel Polka. That's a big swing and miss. 2 hits tonight, 2 for 4.
You get a lot of pushback from the position players in the Union, and most of the pitchers would be all for it.
You know, but that's the other part of it, right? So it would allow, obviously, it would allow starters, relievers, all of them, to pitch with more effectiveness, deeper into games, etc. Right? It would decrease pitch counts,
get more strikeouts,
and I think by virtue of decreasing the pitch count, you're likely going to keep guys a little bit healthier. Now, it definitely is going to dampen the ability for offenses to string together big innings. 1 and 2 on Polka, but there can be some, you know, additional.
Well, maybe
tweaks.
it does and maybe it doesn't, because how many of those at bats end up in a base runner?
Tom, you're asking the unanswerable.
I know, but what I'm saying is a lot of those long at bats end up in outs where they would just be quicker outs. And they would happen with fewer pitches.
What if I told you that Tony Barnett just struck out the side in the 9th inning despite all those foul balls? Great job by Barnett to finish this one off. 12-5, our final score here tonight. And so the Rangers have evened this series now at 1 win apiece. And maybe just as important, we have started down the line of a new thought of how to play this game. We'll take it up tomorrow a little bit deeper. Great win tonight, though, for the Rangers. They even the series at 1 win apiece. John Radigan, Mark McLemore, and Mike Bassick back in the studio. We'll have fun breaking this one down for you tonight. For Tom Grieve, Emily Jones, and our entire hardworking crew, I'm Dave Raymond, dancing after this one. Inviting you to stay with us. More Rangers coverage coming up right after this.